What's up, guys? Welcome to Remax episode 21. It's a New Year's Eve special. What happened to my webcam? God damn it. Alright, what's up, guys? Yeah, so we have a little bit of issues with the webcams. I'll get that sorted. Actually, no, we're almost good. So yeah, let's start with the intros. What's up, Nathanias? Since you were late to show up, we'll start with you. What have you been up to?
What is that supposed to mean? I was like, so I watched Pro League.
Yeah.
Is that passion?
Yes.
And then I might have played like 2 or 3, maybe 4 matches of Counter-Strike after that.
Yeah?
Which, at 5 a.m. is a bad decision, but I got promoted. So.
Oh yeah, you're goal number 3 now?
No. I got demoted to goal number 1.
Oh.
But now I'm 2 again.
I see. Alright. Let's, you're moving on up. What about you, Rotterdam? What have you been up to lately?
Streaming a lot because I still don't have my car back ever since the disastrous road trip to San Jose.
Oh, God.
But hopefully I'll get it back tomorrow. But you know, it's not been too bad. I've been living like a caveman in the apartment for 2 weeks, been playing a lot. Actually starting to get a lot better again. I decided to shave for Remax, so I hope you feel special, Des, because I did not shave for like 2 weeks straight up to this point.
I didn't realize you could get so much stuff, Roddy.
Yeah, so no, that's about it. Just playing a lot, watching a lot, and enjoying the quiet days at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's always nice. What about you, Riff? What have you been up to?
Oh, you know, this and that.
Eh?
Best answer. I don't know. We just been casting a lot. We had holidays. It was fun. I think pretty much everyone enjoyed their version of Christmas or whatever. And I was just busy jumping around from house to house.
Okay, cool. What about you, ZombieGrub?
Casting and holiday family stuff.
Yeah, desRow, why didn't you get any players for this? Jesus, what's with all these casters on your show?
What? Well, you guys have been the most consistent. Well, besides Jessica, you guys have been the most consistent to come on the show. So, I figured.
Well, she's actually been here for 100% of the times you invited her, technically. So she's been the most consistent.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. For myself, you know, sort of the same, streaming and spending time with some of the family. Hey, before we move on to the next topics, what did you guys get for Christmas, Nathanias?
A handshake from Ruddy.
someone mailed us bottles of Jameson.
Oh wow, that's really
Christmas Eve
cool.
Party or whatever. So that was cool.
You guys gave them your address?
This guy, yes, because he's super cool. It's a guy that we met at the Battlegrounds in Atlanta. I randomly met him and I was watching the World Cup. It's like some dude walked up to the table and he's like, "Yo, Roddy, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the event this weekend." He's like, "You mind if I join your table?" I was like, "No." Turns out he's like one of the coolest guys that we ever met. You may have seen him on Reddit. He made the cool StarCraft 2 toast with like the little StarCraft 2 speech. His name is JD Archnock, and he's a really cool dude.
Yeah.
So for him and for us, it's no problem. He's welcome anytime at the apartment.
He can mail me whiskey.
I feel really bad too because I met that guy at BlizzCon and he introduces himself with his real name, and of course I don't know his real name. I just know Archnog from like Twitch and like Twitter and all that. So the next morning I I go home and I Google who he was. I'm like, oh, it's that guy.
Aw.
He's
He's
super
so
cool.
He's like
Yeah.
the coolest dude. He really is.
And sometimes it's awkward when they say their real name, but then you would know them if they said their nickname. What about you, Roddy? What did you get for Christmas?
The same, man. I got a bottle from JD, and that's about it. It's been a really quiet Christmas. Like I thought about going home, but I already traveled like for home story cup,
Mm-hmm.
and also it's been kind of a bad month with all the car trouble and stuff. So I didn't really feel like I was in a position to just buy a ticket and go home. So it's just been a really quiet Christmas, but it's not been bad. You know, it's been having fun. So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Rifkin? What did you get for Christmas?
Well, pretty much just not a whole lot worth showing off. I did get myself a new computer about 3 weeks ago, so all the parts finally came in though, and I'm really excited to put that together. I got the graphics card like 3 hours ago, just before we started casting the show match, and then I'm like, damn it, I agreed to be on Remax already. I could be building this thing right now.
Yeah, I know the feels.
Are you actually excited to build a PC?
I am so excited because the one I have right now, actually, there's kind of a cool story behind this. When Base Rage TV first started, like I was streaming from a laptop. It was not 60 FPS. It was like 24 at best. And a lot of the dedicated folks are like, we want to see a better stream, Rifkin. And they kind of just pulled together and helped me out with it. So while this baby has lasted me a long time, it's also a very bare minimum build. I kind of splurged on this one a bit, so I'm very excited to put it together.
And, you know, when I got my PC, like the thing that I'm least excited about is putting it together. It freaks me out, man. Like I'm not very good with it, so I'm like, Nate,
Dude,
Nate.
it's like grown up
Nate.
Legos.
Yeah. It's
Nate, help
Exactly.
me.
That's exactly how I described it.
yeah,
It's
but
like Legos, just very expensive one.
yeah, but it can be scary. Like if you fuck it up, it's so much money, man.
Don't
but
say that, because now that's all I'm gonna think about. What the fuck?
The only part that anyone worries about fucking up when you're building a computer is putting the CPU in the motherboard. Once you're past that, you're fucking home free.
Yeah. What about you, ZombieGrub? What did you get for Christmas?
I got so many cool things. I got like art books and a calendar and clothes, but the best gift was from my sister-in-law, who made me cards
Oh,
for ZombieGrub.
that's
Look at
so
that.
cool.
Look at
Wow.
that.
Oh, business cards.
Yeah,
That's
like
cool.
actual business cards.
That's hardcore.
Now they don't have
She-
any useful information, but it says StarCraft 2 caster extraordinaire, and that's all the useful information I need.
Extraordinaire.
Yep.
I'm gonna start using that on you now.
That's cool.
That's cool. Actually, I need to call ZombieGrub out on a gift. I was looking at Twitter the other day. You got a card from someone at Blizzard or something? Like what the hell?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was so jelly.
I thought you would get one too.
Because
Because you're in Canada. But I thought that's why you asked me for my address.
No, that's because I don't know.
Rifkin has been a naughty boy. They're not getting him
Well-
anything.
Yeah.
It came during my my family reunion, and I like told all my cousins, and my cousins were like super impressed because all I said was like it's a card from Blizzard, and they were like, oh.
That's cool. Alright, let's get into the topic. So guys, this is an episode mostly about us. So there's not anything too crazy to cover. We're gonna talk a little bit about Pro League because it's been fucking awesome. But outside of that, it's mostly an episode about us. If you want to get on Reddit right now and ask your question there, upvote the questions you want us to ask. And yeah, let's get to it. So Pro League, the biggest, craziest improvement, the intro songs, ZombieGrubs. What are your thoughts? And maybe explain it also for the audience.
Yeah, so they got rid of it, I think, for the hybrid Pro League. Like, it was definitely there in Brood War, and definitely not there in the last season. But basically, when you you go to the video, the player cameras before the game starts, you hear in the background a song. They used to actually have like the song title, like on the stat info, but I guess they don't have it now. So you can still hear it, and I freaking love them. I learned about so much K-pop watching Brood War Pro League.
Yeah. It's funny, some of these players have like really 420 songs, like Bial has like a song with Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa or whatever.
But you know what
Tang have Call Me Maybe?
You know what I really wonder about is that it's really hard to get away with stuff like that licensing wise. Like I remember from my days with NASL, like they did it at NASL season 2, you know, when the players walked over the red carpet and everyone had their own song. And that was great. Everyone loved it. And at season 3, obviously we wanted to do it again, but by then NASL already had like a warning back then that they cannot use licensed music anymore because like the fines, if you play music like that and you don't have a license for it, they're insane, and the licenses itself are really expensive. So I really wonder how Pro League does that, if they actually have the right to play these songs, or if they just like 420 it and they just do whatever the hell they want. That's kind of interesting. I'm really curious about it.
I think because StarCraft in Korea is actually like really well regulated. Like esports is better regulated than some other stuff that they have in Korea. So I think when the hybrid came in and StarCraft 2 butted a lot of the original, there was the fight between OGN and all that too. I figured they lost the company that had talked to the music company. That since SKT took it back, they figured we actually made money last year, so let's make it really fancy again.
But there are so many different music labels that you have to talk to. It's not just one agreement. You have to talk with all the individual companies that hold the licenses for certain songs.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know how it works in Korea.
Yeah.
But I think in Germany they have GEMA or whatever. You pay a fee to the licensing company and then you can use whatever music.
But yeah, it's really cool, boys. Don't get me wrong. I'm just curious about it.
Mm-hmm.
I always assumed Korea was just kind of one of those situations though where it's you have no authority here. Maybe they just didn't care about the licensing things because it wouldn't have been an issue. I have no idea. I'm not saying they do or don't, but that's what I always thought because it always seems like the more Asian side of the world, they get away with a lot of that stuff a lot more easily than in America. You play a song and Twitch is the first one out, you on it, then everyone else gets on board.
Yeah. So far, there's been a lot of Pro League matches. We're not going to talk about anything too fancy unless a guest wants to bring up a game. But one of the most interesting thing, I think, is KT being 0-2. Obviously, it's like a low amount of matches, but, you know, the winner of last season going, like, losing every match so far. It's pretty surprising. Nathanias... Or
SKT.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. SKT is really good, but Nathanias, do you have any thoughts?
On KT?
Yeah, sucking.
I mean,
they lost to
some of the
MVP,
games,
man.
though,
They lost
like,
to MVP. Like, how can you do that?
I just want to need a spread from yesterday's games, but some of the matches have been really weird. Like Flash has been pretty disappointing overall.
Yeah, Flash Zest.
Like last night's match, or like was it the one a few days ago? Okay, so like that Flash versus Sierra game. Oh man, yeah, I can see why we're all upset. Yeah. No man. I don't know why everybody thought like Terran was becoming like the shit on everybody race, never lose, but yeah, people figured it out because I've been watching these games trying to learn how to win my son.
Well, Protoss hasn't been winning so much. I mean,
I haven't seen a TVP where the other guy hasn't been War Prism DT propped. It's so weird hearing my voice again through Roddy's mic. So like, I'm actually derping a bit here. It's okay, figure it out. Oh man, my brain is.
Didn't you just take your headphones off to talk?
That's a really good idea. I'm gonna go like scanners level. My head's gonna fucking explode.
Alright. Well, ZombieGrub, do you have anything else to bring up about Pro League? There's not a lot of direction, so it's okay.
No, not really. I'm just glad there's not like there actually are Terrans and Zergs playing, as opposed to some of the seasons we had. Where it was Protoss.
I like those seasons. I thought.
Yeah,
they were
of course.
yeah. desRow, help me out here. That was a great season, wasn't it?
The one with no Terrans? Yeah, of course. Because the only Terrans that played were fucking champions. Like TY and Maru were gods amongst men. And then the rest just never played.
When that was the case, I actually started to doubt my faith in SKT because they would never field Terrans. And I was like, but KT is fielding like the two cool Terrans, TY and Flash. But now they got innovation, and I love them again. So it's fine.
Yeah. You're a big SKT fan?
Boxer made SKT, are you dumb? Okay? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, guys, we'll move on to the next topic.
Actually,
yeah?
hold up. I know I'm not like the biggest Pro League guy, but before we get off the topic of Pro League, I want to give a big shout out to like that DTD StarCraft guy who's making all the highlights. I am probably the least avid Pro League watcher, but it's so cool to go to Reddit the next morning and know there's gonna be like 3 or 4 of the coolest moments like highlighted there, ready for me to watch. Like that double hatchery shit, man. That was like the coolest thing to see.
Yeah.
Someone a great point in that like thread. It's like, why would you 2-rax and cannon rush the guy whose teammates are Maru and SOS?
Yeah, that guy's got the most experience. Yeah, I was surprised Cats didn't tweet about that, because that would seem like a sort of thing to spread. Like
yeah, Cats would be the first to be like, oh, I taught him that. It was me.
Yeah. All right, moving on, guys. Next topic is mostly just about what we have to say. Whoops, my hotkeys don't work. Alright, so next topic is just, we're going to be talking about, you know, what 2014 was for us, about various topics, and then in the part 2 we'll be doing, like, goals and all that, like, cheesy, like, you know, New Year's stuff that people talk about. So, the best tournament memory of 2014. It can be watching, it can be casting. It's just like your own personal best tournament memory of 2014. So whether you were live at the event or whether you were watching online. So Riff, why don't we start with you? Are you sleeping?
Oh man.
No, your webcam froze.
My webcam frozen? For now or? Hey guys, I'm really Asian. If you don't know, I just look at do you want me to restart the camera or what?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Hopefully that. Am I animated now? Is that working?
Yeah,
You see me
soon.
moving?
Soon,
Okay.
soon.
Wait, is it or no?
No, it's not.
It's spinning.
Oh.
You left it.
Alright, ZombieGrub.
Yo, I need to think about my answer anyway, so I'm just gonna rejoin the call.
Okay. ZombieGrub, what about you?
So what was my favorite game?
Yeah, favorite, like, tournament memory.
Ah, okay. Well, I think my favorite tournament memory is definitely watching Flash win I Am Toronto. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and then the other one I think of that would like almost beat it is that game that we cast where what's his face gave away all of his units and made like 200 supply at Mutas in almost 1 versus
Morrow and Ghost Suit User, yeah.
Yeah, that one. That was pretty cool.
Did
that
you
was
win?
like a once in a lifetime. He did
I don't
not,
think
but he was this close.
How much is 200 mutas of gas?
Oh,
It's 100 each, desRow.
yeah, just do the math.
So it's 10,000?
4,000.
4,000?
So what was really cool about that though was like it was such a you're just so fed up with mech. What can you do? Move.
Yeah.
And just to, like add on to ZombieGrub's point, like this isn't my answer, but what was cool was he almost made it work. Like seriously, if he had been able to bank up enough and do that twice, I think he would have destroyed Morrow. Like it wouldn't have even been close.
Max out on
'Cause
Mutas
the first
twice
time-
in the game, I would hope so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Thor's did nothing when that happened. Vikings were just laughable. It was like it was 100 Mutalists, guys. Like what the hell?
Yeah, that sounds crazy. Are you ready with your answer, Riff?
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about this, and I'm gonna actually not go flashy with my answer. It's probably the thing I reference most on cast. Whenever we see a Zerg player misclick a Corruptor, I always think back to the Acer Team Story Cup, where Impact beat Joxy with that Corruptor. Not like he just beat Joxy and having to make that Corruptor. Like the single Corruptor killed so many medevacs, and like just it was the weirdest, wildest game. And in the Acer Team Story Cup, I think that's probably one of my more favorite moments.
Wait, he derped and made like a useless corruptor, which was the MVP
Yeah,
of the
like
game?
every Zerg player at some point, they tend to like just like misclick or fat finger a Corruptor, and like it usually sits there and it's awkward and it's funny. But this instance on Heavy Rain, this one Corruptor actually straight up killed like 12 medevacs over the course of the game. Like it won him that game.
That's crazy. What about you, Roddy? Your best tournament memory of 2014?
All right, so I think my favorite tournament that I was part of this year was actually Washington D.C. I felt that was a really, really good tournament. I felt like the venue looked really awesome with like all the artwork on the walls. I thought the crowd in DC was freaking amazing. Like they got so excited, they got so pumped for everything. There was absolutely zero downtime in the entire event, other than 2 5-minute breaks that we took because we wanted to, you know, give people time to go to the restroom without missing anything. I thought it was like a pretty much flawless event. Of course, it can be better. Just because it was flawless doesn't mean it can be better, because it was flawless for what we did, but we can always step it up. But I felt it was just an amazing event. I think we got really lucky with the games. So many of the games were 2-1s. They were really good. We had upsets. And then, of course, you know, Red Bull's own Bomber winning it all, despite, you know, all odds. In my opinion, he was one of the least favorite players going into that tournament. But he just shreked everyone, including like 4 Code S players of that season. So I thought DC was just freaking cool to be part of. My favorite game of the year is Trap versus Scarlet. I've actually never rewatched this game, so maybe this game is not as good as I have it in my mind. But when I watched that game at MLG Anaheim, I seriously thought that Trap was dead like on 6 different occasions in that game. Scarlet had like the entire map covered in creep, had every base, and had like a gazillion Mutalisk against like a
It was on
Frost,
right?
Frost. Yeah, on
Yeah.
Frost. Like that game was so freaking insane. Like I was watching it and I was just like, okay, he's gonna die, he's gonna die, he's gonna die now, he's gonna die now, and he just did not die. And then when he actually won that game off the back of some like DT harassments, finally doing some economic damage, I was just like, wow, what the fuck? That's like the sickest Protoss victory I've seen in a long time.
But
long,
that's why she lost. Like she went for like 7 bases instead of
Yeah,
like
but-
doing 5 bases with static D. That's pretty
Yeah, I
sad.
know.
Yeah.
It was a little too much, but still, like, if you are that Protoss and you have absolutely zero map vision, your Stargates are unpowered, you have like 2-3 Phoenixes, and whenever one new one spawns, it dies immediately. Like, you know that feeling. Des.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
it's like impossible, you know. It's like you feel like you're playing tower defense, and it's just like it's gonna get worse and worse, and you're never gonna move out, and eventually you die. But he didn't die. I thought that game was so good, but I never rewatched it. So maybe if I rewatch it, then I'm like why am I so happy about this game? But watching it live, like, it made me go insane. So that's my.
Yeah.
Actually, I got a question for Roddy. Like, obviously this wouldn't be like your favorite moment, but like, was this like probably maybe your weirdest moment of 2014? That one WCS match where it looked like an Oracle was building and like a void ray popped out or whatever that was?
God. Oh, yeah, that was so weird. That was
So
like the weirdest thing.
was that during the day that we didn't sleep?
Yeah, that could be.
Because
I was so confused watching too, dude. Like,
You know, like a small side story. There was one day this year, there was like one period when Nate and me were extremely busy, right? But there was one day where we had to be at the ESL studio at like 8 p.m. And then we casted IEM Shenzhen from 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. As soon as we were done, we had like 1 hour of sleep at the studio. And then we drove from the ESL studio to the Red Bull office at 5 a.m. So we arrived there at 7 a.m. And then we casted some Battlegrounds qualifier from like 10 till 6 p.m. And as soon as that was done, we had to drive back to the ESL studio again to cast day 2 IEM. And the funniest thing is that like, I was like, we were so out of it that one moment, like I had to take a right. And then I was like, no, I'll take the next one. But I kind of felt that like everything on this side of that little path was like one direction and the other side was one direction. So I'm just driving and then suddenly like, it's only like 30 miles an hour, you know, it's like a crowded area. And suddenly I was like, fuck man, I think I'm driving in the wrong lane. And like Nate looks at me and he's like, oh shit, so I stop at the intersection and right on the other side of the intersection is a cop car. And I'm just like, oh my god. So like it's good for us to go, the light goes green and like I just like switch the lanes and like drive across the intersection, I roll down my window and like the cop already rolled down his window and he looks at me, he's like, so why are you driving on the wrong side of the road? I was just like, I'm sorry, officer, really out of it. Almost at my destination, kind of sleepy. And then he just looked at me and he's just like, whatever, man. And then he drove off.
Sorry, cops, man.
Esports here.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
So like then we came back in the studio and then it was just like, everything was weird to us. Like, you know, Nate thought that he saw a reindeer standing in the living room, which was the most photoshopped image.
Yeah, someone sent us this picture of a reindeer watching. They like photoshopped it, and I couldn't tell.
Yeah, we were really confused that day, but it was fun.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. What about you, Nate? Best tournament memory of 2014?
Like tournament memory overall. Oh, I really don't know, man. I had a lot of fun at so many of the tournaments. Like, outside of the games, you mean?
Just like anything like that's like you were like either watching, casting, spectating, like
I
the
really
best.
hang out with Bomber before his WCS Season 2 stuff and Red Bull Atlanta. Because we had these days where we're driving up to the office. So that means Kev is driving. And Bomber and I are in the back seat. And I like pull up Pro League VODs on my iPad. And I'm like, Bomber, let's watch the series. He's like, okay. And it's like some game between like Zest and Soul Key or some shit. Like, it's like really high level PvZ. And he's like, no. It's a Maru game. I'm like, but he 2-racks in this match. He's like, let's watch it. I was like, god damn it, Bomber. He's like, only watch Terran. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? It's like this like 30-minute epic PvZ and like King Sejong. He's like, no. Maybe go around 2-racks. Like, so what did you learn from this? He's like, Maru's so good.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know, sorry to interrupt, but one of my other favorite moments of the year was probably Nate's first hangover. the Todd Battlegrounds Detroit fundraiser tournament, which started off with Austin's cast. That was such a weird tournament as well. We casted like a Master League Protoss player, one base, Immortal Sentry, all in, a GM Zerg, and he made it work. And we're just sitting there like, what the fuck are we watching? Like, how does this work? It's like Crossmap, or like, no, not Crossmap, it's always Crossmap, I guess, but it was Catalina. It's just like, how does this work? And then like my special memory, the one thing I will never forget about that night was the greatest quote Nathanias has ever given to this earth, where we were casting Supernova versus Major later that night. And he's like, he has 2 tanks against 6. Man, he's so dead, he may as well be playing this game from his coffin. Like, I thought that was the greatest quote of the year.
Actually, you're building on that same instance. Because I remember that game you're talking about. That was like right around the time I donated like $100, and I was like, Nate, you have to give Todd a noogie. and Todd had no idea what a noogie was, and Nate's like looking at him like kind of scared, like, I don't want to do this, man. don't hurt me if I do this, Todd, okay? And he like nudges him a little bit with his fist, and that's it.
That's really crazy.
What is a noogie?
What is a noogie?
That's really funny.
You don't know what a noogie is.
No, I don't.
Oh, dude, that's like when you like go like this to somebody, like you just rub your fist in their head, you usually grab them or something. But
I see.
But the Riff, would you do it to Todd?
I would
Hell
do Todd
no.
for free, dude. Like, I would pay to do that to Todd.
on a bad day, I think you're in for a bad time. Like if Todd is in a good
on a bad day, I'm not going anywhere near Todd. Yeah, Todd's a scary dude. He's intimidating for sure.
Yeah, man. I live with him, and you never want to see him in the morning. He would look at you and he wants to kill you. Like if he had a knife, you'd be dead. Stabbed like 100 times. You end up in the
I'm that
news.
kind of guy. I like to poke the bear. Like I'm not a safe human being.
Yeah, but if you poke the bear, like Todd would just not talk to you for 2 weeks. Like he's that type of guy. But he's nice. When he's nice, he's nice. Yeah, for me, the best tournament memory of 2014 was probably BlizzCon. I don't know, like when there's like a lot of energy and whatever, like I get teary, like like you have like something like in your throat and you're like, holy shit, yeah.
All my emotions.
No, but it's true. It's like, oh my god, like I'm part of this. This is so crazy.
No, I had tears of frustration at BlizzCon, so
Aww.
thank you.
Poor innovation.
I
Pretty
think I'm in
much.
between.
Yep.
Like I was in awe because the stage was cool and I get to meet so many cool people. And seeing Nate and Roddy casting was a good feel too. But like at the same time, yeah, all those problems were like, well, all these good feelings are just gonna kind of
Yeah. Let's focus on the positive vibes, guys. So let's go into the next topic. Obviously, we have to be a little bit careful with this because you don't want to bring up people that might not want to be spoken about this topic, but just best after party of 2014. So that includes, yeah, let's just do that one and then we'll do another one after. Right, best after party.
I think we've all got like good moments on this one. I see everyone grinning and giggling as soon as you brought it up.
Yeah, so you have to tell like where it was, when, and so on. Nathanias, what's your best after party of 2014?
I hope no one says the BlizzCon one was their favorite because I didn't even make it to that one.
So my favorite moment was Rotterdam telling me how Nate couldn't make it to the BlizzCon after party at the BlizzCon after party.
Oh man, that was still a lot of fun. Anyway, I think the favorite after party experience that I made it to. So there's a video of it on YouTube. So talking about it is fair play. But at DreamHack Summer earlier this year, so DreamHack basically got this barn in the middle of the woods after the tournament was over, and they bust basically all the VIP people onto this barn. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere, and in Sweden the sun rises at 2:30, 3 a.m. during the summertime. What? So everybody basically went there, drank, had a good time, it was fun, and then we got back, and it's me and a couple of guys, Apollo was there, some StarCraft people, Robert Roland, and we went over to the lake. There's a lake very close by to the venue, and basically a bunch of people actually just climbed down maybe a 50-meter cliff,
What?
The angle was this steep. This is really, really steep shit. Anyway, this was, watching people try to climb up this. I wasn't silly enough to go down. Watching Apollo climb the mountain was fun enough. The video is out there somewhere. But,
all right.
That was my favorite experience. Watching a bunch of eSport people climbing 50 meters up a cliff was pretty hilarious.
That's crazy.
All right. What about you, Riff?
I've sadly only ever been to one after party.
Yeah.
I didn't get to be cool enough to go to Red Bulls or anything like that.
Oh,
So
that's not true. You went to two, technically.
Yeah, two, yeah.
Toronto and BlizzCon.
Toronto wasn't really an after party though.
What?
Toronto was more like
It
we were just
wasn't
gonna hang
official,
out.
but
Yeah, it was pretty fun. The one on Saturday night was pretty fun.
Well, for me, the answer's still BlizzCon either way. It's not like the party itself is anything in particular. I got to meet a lot of my friends outside of StarCraft 2, which was really fun. But then for those who don't know, I'm a very lightweight drinker despite my body size. I cannot drink very well, and I think I bumped into Rotterdam, and Rotterdam was like the one who pointed out to me that like these wristbands were like free drinks, and I was like, oh shit. Like, for that I was like, I was being cheap till that point. So I went to the bar and I got like a couple of rum and ginger ales, and someone made me take a shot of something, I don't even know what it was, and before I got like too ridiculous, I started dancing around with partying and some of my WoW friends, and big guy, lightweight, jiggling up all that alcohol in you. I had a pretty rough night after that, but yeah, the party was really cool, getting to meet a lot of the people, seeing all the Koreans as well. It was a lot of fun.
What about you, ZombieGrub?
I'm not gonna say all of them, although they all had the good moments. Dancing a lot at Red Bull DC was probably the only time.
Oh, the DC night club.
Yeah,
That was so much fun.
Yeah,
DC
the
was
only time
fun.
I've ever danced,
man.
really. So that was cool. That was fun. But yeah, BlizzCon. I had to baby Rifkin when he was about to like die outside. of
You
the club.
abandoned me
I
after
did not
that after
abandon
party.
you.
Vibe
I had
and
to baby
Lady
him.
saved my ass.
No, I didn't abandon you. What actually happened?
You went off with Kibbles and Fear Dragon. You remember they like you somehow randomly found our hotel room, which was really weird.
Okay, well that's that.
That
I
was
don't
so
know,
weird.
I really
That was
can't
so
remember
weird.
the in between. I don't know why I went away, like because like they were gonna like take care of you, and you said you were gonna go back to the hotel, and then they actually went to their hotel or something like that. Anyways, I was perfectly nice. I got him water. I made sure he was okay. I was like, "You okay? You're actually gonna throw up?" Perfectly nice person. But yeah, and then later on, I went off with like Kibbles and Fear Dragon, and he's like, I heard they were gonna be on the on one of like the patios. So we try and find one of them, and there's like 3 of them, and we go to one, and it's like down on a level, and there's like glass sliding doors, and I'm looking around because I guess I'm nosy or something. And right there is like Rifkin sitting on a bed. I'm like, well, I have to do this. So of course I run up to the freaking sliding glass door and I just bang it as hard as I can.
And we're just like, this is like
them
the
out.
4th floor of the Hilton too. It's not even something you just like randomly walk into. Like we're like, where the fuck did you come from? Holy cow!
We heard there was a Twitch party up there, and technically there were Twitch people there eventually. But first they scared you.
Yeah, get the pants up.
Good times.
What about you, Rotterdam?
There's been a few fun ones. Also a few events where like I couldn't really party at all. Like Sao Paulo, I just have the tournament list open of the ones I went to. Sao Paulo, I actually flew home at the last day of the event, so I didn't drink any of the nights, so that kind of sucked. Atlanta was kind of cool, like Red Bull Battlegrounds Atlanta, but the problem was there weren't too many people, but the Red Bull had like a really cool DJ coming up, and he played like right next to the event, and he actually played an amazing set. Like his music was really good. I don't know who the guy was, but he played a really, really good set of music, but it was just like no one dancing, so that was kind of sad.
Which Red Bull?
Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah, like the DJ was good. But so I think of the nights where I left the most. One of my favorite moments of the year was probably at the BlizzCon after party, but before that, when we were in the Hilton bar. So it's like, we just started, we wrapped up the event, we're all ready to have some drinks. And I think Paul, Red Eye, bought me a beer, and I was chilling with him and Fonka and someone else, and everyone was slowly but steady gathering in the hotel bar. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll get you guys the next one. It was like 4 people. So I walk up to the bar, and there's like this dude who comes up to me, and he's like, yo, Roddy, big fan. I was like, thanks, man. He's like, let me get you a drink. I was like, I appreciate it, but I'm getting a drink for my friends. He's like, what do they want? I was like, he's like, so no, just tell me, what do you want? I was like, well, I want Jack on the rocks, but everyone drinks something else. He's like, okay, no problem. And then like the waiter comes, he's like, can I have 5 Jack on the rocks? I was like, no, man, like they don't want Jack on the rocks. And he's like, oh, that's no problem. What do they want? I was like, well, Fonka wants Corona. He's like, 5 Coronas. I was like, no, what are you doing? And I was like, and Paul wanted something like a gin and something. I was like, mate, this is not working. Like Paul wanted a gin. He's like, okay, can I get 5 gin as well? He just ordered 15 drinks at the Hilton bar. And I was just like, what the fuck? He's like, don't worry, man, Roddy. Like, I got you. Like, I love esports and I love you guys. And then we stood there with 15 drinks and like just like started passing them around. Like, I think his name was Alex. It was just a badass dude.
I think that guy contributed to me not
Yes.
ending the actual after party.
So that was really fun. Like, that was just fun. I think I even had more fun at the Hilton bar than I had at the actual Twitch party. Even though the Twitch party was really fun too, but it was just fun being around Nate and stuff. And then Nate couldn't actually make it to the real party. But...
Roddy
Okay.
saved me.
So someone in chat brought up like, who are the Koreans that actually party at parties besides partying?
Oh,
I was trying to
so-
think of them, and I remembered SOS. No, hold on. SOS goes crazy at partings parties, and it's so funny because at first he's really shy, but like I guess the drunker, the more it goes on, you would see him doing the worst like white person dancing ever. I mean, just exactly that.
That's really funny.
I really liked hanging out with the Koreans because you just Gina Tonic in the chat just posts these pictures from Stockholm, and it's not because I forgot any of that evening or anything, but that was a really fun party. I remember sitting in the upstairs lounge and CJ Hero, I don't know how out of it he was because I feeling my beard. Young and like 2 other Koreans were trying to guess how old I was. So I was like, nope, younger. I was like, God damn it. And then, yeah, that was...
So, but the most fun time of the year for me was actually Home Story Cup 10. And, you know, people always ask me, you know, is Home Story Cup as fun as it looks? And, you know, Home Story Cup 10 was really a classic. Like, I've enjoyed all the Home Story Cups, don't get me wrong, but it kind of felt like 7 and 8 that I went to. It was kind of like, it was fun, but it was a little bit, you know, the same, and we've done it all over. And we had some of the same people, but Home Story Cup 10 was really good. Like, Bling was super funny, the Muslim was super funny, Deishi, Stefano, you know, you guys probably heard it on stream as well. Money's money and all these things, solid and stuff. But like, nah, Home Story Cup 10 was super fun. Like the Saturday night party with all the German fans in the club was such a good time. Like I really enjoyed. I like my voice was sore, not really from like, you know, like drinking too much or whatever, but it was more just like, you know, singing along with the tempo songs and singing with the nerds in the club. Like it was just a really good time. We had so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just vouch for the ultimate bromance that is Nathanias and Roddy, by the way. Like, so when I got to the BlizzCon after party, like I met up with Rotterdam. It was like a nice hi, hello, how are you? He had a couple of drinks in his hands, and before he even told me about the whole like free drinks thing, he tells me like how he felt so bad that Nate wasn't there, and like he made sure to take care of him and put some bottles of water next to him, and like basically tuck him in his bed. Like, Roddy was so concerned about Nate. It was so just ultimate bromance status.
Hey man, he was like passed out. Like he went to my room because like I had to get him out of the bar because he was getting a little too much. I was like, "Nate, you need to chill down." So we go to my room, and I was like, "Okay, you're gonna drink this water." And he's like, "I need music." I was like, "All right, we'll listen to Taylor Swift." So I'm sitting in my room like with super drunk Nate.
I just remember like I'm in his hotel bathroom. I got my arms up on the desk like this, and I'm like hanging. My legs aren't really doing too much anymore. And I'm just drinking this water. I remember hearing Taylor Swift. It's like shake it off as I'm vomiting in this fucking sink. Yeah. Then some cute girl took me in and rolled me over when I went to sleep, and it was fun. Yeah.
Nice. That's what I do, Nate.
My favorite after party was probably Detroit because it was the first time I witnessed a rap or dance battle like with my own eyes, like in real life. That was pretty cool. I think I really liked the way it was at after party in Detroit. It was pretty big, like compared to Atlanta, compared to BlizzCon after party. Fucking BlizzCon after party was the worst for me because it was so crowded. It was so hard to maneuver. Like I remember, like I was trying to find a Huck. I was trying to find Huck, but he was like on the totally opposite side of like the place. So I had like to like excuse me, and then you tried to like waddle around people. But you know, Detroit was the most fun, man. I had like 15 Long Islands, and then I puked generously. Well,
that's
yeah. 5 a.m. flight was really delightful. All right. Now, the best esports dinner of 2014.
Dinner.
Yes, dinner. Let's start with
Does it have to be dinner? Because, like, mine's
lunch. Just like breakfast, lunch, dinner. Just like sharing a meal with esports people at an event. Just a nice little fun story.
Okay.
Yeah. Jessica, you want to start?
There's so many that we've had, but I don't know what it is. That IHOP at Anaheim, I guess since we went there twice, for MLG Anaheim and BlizzCon, and at one point we convinced Rifkin that, or Fear Dragon, that Canadians use coin purses. And at the other one, we actually finally had our waffle versus pancake, like, face-off. So I guess those are my favorite breakfast.
So, okay, Fear Dragon, I love this guy to death. He's so gullible. Like, I just as a joke, he's like, what do you guys do with all your coins? Like, if you got dollars and $2 coins instead of dollar bills. I'm like, well, duh, we keep them in a coin pouch, right? And what worked out really well for this was like a Korean barbecue with Gillyweed's husband, who's also Canadian, and he didn't even miss a beat. He's just like, oh yeah, I had like 3 of those when I was growing up. So Fear Dragon didn't really know if he should believe us or not. But I kind of told him I was trolling him, but for some reason he thought that me telling him that I was trolling him was me trolling him. So he's kind of like really on the fence now. So we're at BlizzCon, and ZombieGrub takes my my camera case. It's just like a pouch. And she takes a picture of it, tweets it at Fear Dragon, and says, "Hey, look, I got Rifkin's Canadian coin pouch or whatever." So ridiculous.
Did he believe it there then?
I don't
too?
know where he sits now, dude. I feel so
I
bad.
don't.
Joking around on this so
I don't either.
That's great.
The pancake versus waffle things might just sound like, you know, something silly and whatever. It's actually kind of legit on Base Trade TV. Whoever the fuck started that, we've gotten so many donations in favor of waffles or pancakes.
Okay, so like
Hundreds of dollars, I'm sure.
We don't get like Maximus Black level of donation wars, but we'll get like $2 here, $3 there, and they'll be like hashtag waffle, hashtag pancake. We don't know why this started, how it started, but it's been going on for a long fucking time.
So who's
like,
winning? Pancakes, right?
I don't know. It just keeps happening.
Waffles,
It doesn't
clear.
matter.
What?
Yeah.
Pancakes are so much better.
Oi.
Oh, this is why we had the eating. That,
Oh, yeah, so we
I'm gonna go
ordered
fucking
like a big
donate
thing
to
of
Base
pancakes
Trade
and
TV for hashtag waffle.
I don't know where it came from, so it really bothers me because like it's like it's inside joke, like it's our inside joke that I don't get.
What about you, Riff? Best dinner?
Okay, I've got the coolest dinner, but then I've got like my favorite moment. So the coolest dinner was I accidentally had like was it PF Chang's? Is that the name of the restaurant? Okay, I accidentally went to PF Chang's with Polt, Leenock, Violet, selected a bunch of other people at LG Anaheim. I really don't know how it happened. We just kind of like all walked in together, and I sat down. Winter, I think, was there too. So it was pretty cool getting to sit down. I didn't really talk a whole lot because they were doing a lot of Korean, but I was just like, oh, this is kind of cool. I'm sitting with like a lot of really good people at StarCraft right now. And Violet tells me I should get this Kung Pao chicken, and I'm not. As much as I'm bad with drinking, I'm even worse with spicy food. So I'm like, okay, this looks good. And I'm just sitting there at the edge of the table. There's like big white guy sweating my, like, just like have to take a napkin, like wiping my forehead off, trying to eat this chicken. I don't want to be like a pussy who can't eat chicken, right? So I'm like, yeah, Violet, this is really good. Thanks for ordering it for me. But I think my favorite has definitely got to be the IHOP breakfast on BlizzCon. Nate was there, I know. ZombieGrub was there. We had like Smix, Huck, like a ton of people. It was like this table of like...
And the screaming baby in the back of the room.
Yeah, that too. But there was like, we had the entire upstairs like quarter of like IHOP for us. It was really cool just hanging out with that Arknog guy, or Archnog, sorry, was there. Sky, lots of people I hadn't hoped to meet but didn't get to actually during BlizzCon itself. So it was everybody just having lunch, and then after that, folks went to like Disneyland and stuff. But it was like really fun just getting to sit down and talk with everybody over like combination waffles and like chicken and whatever else we were ordering. It was good times.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Rotterdam?
All right. So this is like one of these stories where I'm not telling it because I think like I'm such a badass or something, or this is like that I'm proud of my behavior. But it happened, and like looking back at it, it was really funny. But it's not something I recommend anyone to do, or that I would do myself again under any different circumstance. But so at the end of WCS America Season 1, which if you guys recall, that was hosted in Cologne, because you know, back then NSL went bankrupt, so we all suddenly just flew to Cologne like twice in 2 weeks, and we wrapped up the event there. Back then, Nate was not ready yet to hang with the big boys, so Nate went to his room to play League and eat pizza and drink Coke. He doesn't do that anymore. That's why he's so handsome right now.
Yeah.
But so I went out with all the European boys, you know, Apollo, my friend from Cologne, Chris, a few other guys, and we have a really fun night, you know, just like a bunch of players, and we have like a bunch of drinks. But of course, Cologne is not America, so it doesn't end at 2, you know, it always ends at 5 or 6. Anyway, so like we pretty much go out till like 6. And then like everyone's like, some people are like, hey, I'm really hungry. Some people are like, I want to go home. And so we kind of just walk to the hotel. but most of them were staying, and I was actually staying in a different place. But everyone's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go have breakfast." I was like, "Okay, I'll just join." So like, I just walk in, and she's like, "What's your room?" And I knew Todd's room number, so I gave her Todd's room number, and I just walked into the buffet, and then they had like, these really delicious hash brown balls, and I was like kind of drunk at that moment, so I just kept eating hash brown balls, and I ate all the hash brown balls, and then they served new ones, and I ate all those hash browns as well, and then there were like multiple people waiting for hash brown balls, but there weren't any because I ate them all for like 20 minutes straight. It was pretty embarrassing when I think back at it, but it was pretty fun at the moment.
Oh wow, that's such a. I've been there, man. What about you, Nathanias?
Oh, when I think about food and crazy moments this year in esports, trying to get McDonald's with Moonglade at 3 a.m. in Stockholm was an adventure. So we were on our way. So it was after the Stockholm party. We Apollo realized, okay, so like they were closing down the hotel. Everyone's like, okay, that guy's this is Sweden. You actually can't have fun after 2 a.m. So we all go outside. Apollo gets a cab, and like this cabbie is visibly pissed with all of us because we're all completely gone. And then Apollo gives him the address to the hotel back by where like the globe is. But Moonglade and I was just like, man, it's like, yo, we're gonna leave Sweden tomorrow. I was like, you should get Swedish McDonald's. So Apollo's just like, oi, he's like, is there a McDonald's open right now? It's like 3 fucking a.m. And this cab driver just like, he's like, God fucking damn it. He's like, bro, yes, we can't move food in here. And he's like, no, it's okay, it's okay. It's like, they'll just get food and eat it there. It's just like, okay, so we pull up in front of the McDonald's, and this guy's like, get out. And then Sean's like, no, I'm gonna stay here, guys. And he like looks back at us and says loud enough for the cab driver to definitely hear. He's like, I'll just sit here and wait so he doesn't ditch us. So we go to the fucking McDonald's and I go to order food, and Moonglade's just like, I guess a really calm drunk, but you know, I'm obviously much louder. So we go over like waiting in line, and I get into like this conversation with the guy behind the counter about the fucking McDonald's. It's like, yo man, this is so much better here than in America. And he's like, what? I'm like, American McDonald's is such shit. He's like, why are you talking down on your country's food, man? I'm like, cause it's fucking terrible. I like had a heart to heart with this guy over it. And he's like, well, I hope you enjoy your food. Then we get into the cab, and Moonglade and I both just start eating, even though this guy asked us not to. And it was fun. This was probably the angriest cab driver that we've ever had, but that was my food moment this year in esports.
I really liked how the second you mentioned Apollo, whether accidental or on purpose, that accent came out. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
It's sad. The worst part was we forgot to actually get any food for Sean.
Aww.
Rip Sean. For me, it was a small tournament in Toronto, Land Nation. I was with Huck, Eggy, and one of my mod, Poison, and we went to this. I forgot what kind of food it was. It was like a noodle, like Asian food place, and there was like the spicy amount on the list. So there's like 1 spicy, 3 spicy, 5 spicy, 10 spicy. So I'm like, you know, it has to be like a level, right? Turns out it's fucking quantity. So I went for 10. I'm like, you know, I can do like a level 10. Like the max I think was 30. I'm like, I can do 10. Fucking, I start eating the thing. I'm like, yeah, it's good. And then next thing you know, like I start crying. I start blowing my nose. I can't like fucking line up 2 spoons in a row. I'm like dying. I order a fucking like milkshake. Doesn't have enough milk to cancel the hotness. Fucking wasted $20, man. You gotta be careful with the spicy food. And otherwise, a pleasant surprise. Esports dinner was with Rifkin actually. He was starting getting tipsy at Cheesecake Factory, and it was just a very enjoyable meal of just Rifkin being goofy. We had one of my mods there again, Sleepy Easy, Fear Dragon, me, and ZombieGrub, and it was a very pleasant dinner.
Yo, you guys, okay, I gotta ask Nate and Roddy, you know what a strawberry daiquiri is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I know they're not manly drinks, but those things are so delicious. And desRow and Fear Dragon, and no one knew what these were. So I'm sitting there sipping in the corner, and I think, I can't remember who it was. Someone asked me if I was drinking a Slurpee. I'm like, what the fuck? You can't order Slurpee here? Like, I was very loud and obnoxious at that point, and yeah, that was a pretty embarrassing dinner for me.
What? No, that was great, man. You did
The
great.
only other moment I have is when I ate ice cream with chopsticks after we had a good amount of soju.
How? What?
Why?
We went to
How?
the barbecue place after MLG Anaheim, and yeah, we got ice cream and we were done eating. And I was like so determined to prove to everybody that I could use chopsticks that I actually picked up the fucking entire ice cream piece. Todd has a picture of it somewhere, but that was like my moment.
Dang.
What about, let's move on to best anecdote of 2014. So, like, you know, it's not a dinner, it's not an after party, it's not a tournament. Just something, like, really crazy, really funny that happened to you. That's gonna be hard to think of, by the way. So, maybe you guys take a little moment here to think about it. Guys, get on Reddit if you want to ask questions. We'll be doing that in the second part. Anyone has anything coming up? Just something like funny, like it can be like in between games and between matches, tournaments. It doesn't have to be in real life, can be online too. Riff?
So I don't know, this wasn't like super hilarious or anything, but I am Toronto. You know, this is kind of the point where ZombieGrub and I think all the players know who we are at this point, like even some of the Koreans, but like, you know, obviously no one else does, and that's fine. And we're kind of just hanging out backstage in the player area a little bit, and I remember when we were talking with Snoot for some stuff, and you know, because Snoot's near the wall, everyone's coming by asking for signatures and whatever. We kept getting pushed to the side over and over and over again, and these camera guys are filming the thing the whole time because they want to get footage for Snoot signing stuff. And then one guy like asks me if I can sign something, and I'm kind of like, okay, cool. And these camera guys, I guess, probably don't know anything about anything because all of a sudden they're like, oh, this guy must be a big deal, and they start filming me for the next 5 minutes. I signed one thing. I'm sitting at the wall. I'm like, go find, like, Snoot's right there. Like, just film Snoot. Don't look at me. And so, yeah, it was super duper awkward at that point with the camera people, but that was pretty cool, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jessica?
So I got I think I've told the story a bunch of times. I don't know if people have actually not heard this story, but it's about my Red Bull and potato chips in IAM Toronto.
Whoa, what?
Okay.
Aww.
So I really I got cinnamon bun potato chips.
Nate.
Yeah, I don't know what you're thinking. I got cinnamon bun potato chips when we're at like a corner store or whatever, and he got Red Bull to give away to people, which is a nice thing to do. And they're cinnamon potato chips, and they were delicious. I was like, what the hell? It's like I'm eating like French toasts, like the cereal, delicious. So I put it back in the bag because I don't want to eat it. And like when I asked Rifkin for them back, he like takes out the entire bag and they like dumped into the Red Bull bag. So there's one Red Bull left, but it was like covered in cinnamon bun potato chips, and I was like, well, I can't eat this.
Condensation on a can, like got the chips all sticky to it.
Yeah, so I was like, I can't eat this, and they're like, why not? It's still in a bag, and I was like, I guess you're right. So like here I am, just like eating like a hobo out of like a bag, like a different like plastic bag, potato chips, and I'm just watching the players because I don't like sitting down for that long. And a fan comes up to me, and he's like, oh, you're ZombieGrub. And I'm like, yeah, I am, like, eating potato chips out of a bag like a hobo. And he was really chill and nice, and they had, like, that awkward, like, ending silence where we both wanted to stay there and watch the players. And I was like, man, I really want to get rid of this bag full of potato chips that I shouldn't be eating in public, but it has a Red Bull in it, so what do I do with this Red Bull? So I look at him, and I'm like, hey, do you want a Red Bull? And he was like, yeah, sure, of course. So I take out the can, and it's covered in cinnamon bun potato chips, which I did not consider, and I'm just like, here you go. Just like, thanks. I was like, good. And then I ran off and threw it away. I swear to God, that guy's never like watched me again.
Yeah. Poor guy. You rip. Do you have any story, Roddy?
Not really too much of a story, but I think one of my like favorite moments that is just like, I don't think you guys have to be there to just imagine this entire image that I'm describing right now. So like Saturday night at Home Story Cup was really fun, right? And the usual European party crew was going pretty hard. And that night I partied relatively hard as well before having to cast the next day. But that's the only time of the year that I actually like drink and have to cast the next day. And everyone is always like, oh, come on, hang out. And like Dennis wants it too. So I was like, okay. But like at 2 or something, I stopped drinking. And even though I stayed till 4, like the last 2 hours just drinking water. And anyway, all the other boys, they were going real hard, you know, and you know, like the Stefanos, the Blinks, Daishi, the Muslim and stuff, and they're all having a good time. But I was like, man, those boys, they're gonna feel rough tomorrow. So, you know, the next morning, obviously, I have to be there like 3 or 4 hours before they do. So, you know, I start casting, and in the morning, I definitely felt a little rough, but I was like, okay, I'll make it through. This is gonna be a fun final day of Homestead Cup. And then I was watching, I think, quarterfinal number 4 with Snoot on one of the couches, and we're on the TV. And then suddenly you see like all the boys walking, and they all just look tired, they look destroyed, and they carry in like 20 bags of McDonald's, you know. And then it's just like full of chicken nuggets, burgers, whatsoever. And then Snoot looks at me, and he's like, the hangover crew has arrived. And I just started laughing so hard because I thought it was really funny. Because it's just like, you could just see how miserable they all felt. And then, you know that feeling where you think you're really hungry and you're going to eat some bad food and you're just going to feel worse anyway. And that was like exactly them. So I thought Snoot's comment was really funny. And it was a really funny sight. Like, I won't forget, all of them just walk in one by one with their bags of McDonald's in their hand.
That's crazy. What about you, Nathanias?
Oh, there's so many, you know. Oh, this is the first year I ever actually drank at Esports stuff. Anecdotes, random moment. I had a lot of fun. Which story do I tell? I don't know, man.
I liked Nate at Toronto when we were upstairs in that one guy's apartment. He was pretty drunk.
Oh, that was one of the ones I was considering. That was pretty fun. Like, there were so many people there, and then I think I played somebody in Smash Bros. And I wrecked him. But I was like shouting at this guy. I was like, dude, you just got fucking jacked up, motherfucker. And during all of this, Rifkin had given me like this, what was it, like cinnamon? It's like maple whiskey.
Yeah, maple syrup
maple
whiskey.
Syrup whiskey. And it was, I mean, maybe I was too far gone at that point, but it tasted really good. And then that's also the only time I ever had poutine was while I was drinking maple whiskey. So I felt very Canadian.
I went out and got like a ton of poutine for everybody.
Yeah, that was bad, man. I was pretty sloppy, but I still whooped everyone's ass in Smash Bros. So
I think this is how you remember it, Nate.
You won't.
Actually, at that same party, this is a story to add on to this. I remember because Nate had to cast the next morning, and I was like, man, he's getting pretty hammered for like how much he's gonna cast. Like, Nate was super wasted, guys, like that stream level of wasted. And I remember these guys are playing pool, and I walk into the room, and there's Nate hunched over on the edge of the table, his chin on the table, watching, and he's like, "Oh, pool." I'm like, dude,
you told me the ball's gonna hit my face.
The ball's gonna roll like right into your face. I like quickly just snatched his shoulders. I'm like, get away from that table, you idiot! Trying to hashtag save not esports, but Nathanias.
In my defense, I already knew that I wasn't doing like the first 2 or 3 matches. Okay, I wasn't opening, so I was somewhat responsible.
Somewhat.
Yeah, that after party was fun. It was like a condo, and they like rented the whole floor, and there was like a patio outside. It was really, really nice.
Yeah, I remember there were quite a few there. I think Caitlin and Tempo were there too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And a bunch of fans from Base Trade.
Oh, Caitlin and Kane. I'm so mad I never, because, okay, for those who don't know, I got a lot of my video equipment stolen from the airport, like on the way for Toronto. And I had done this thing for the Ice Bucket Challenge originally where ZombieGrub and I were going to do all these other things, but Kane and Caitlin on the roof of this building in Toronto dumped the water on me, right? So there I'm standing outside, it's like top of a building, so it's windy as hell, Ice Bucket Challenge completed, and sadly this footage is lost, but after that ZombieGrub, I was like, here, can you hold the towels, right? I don't want hypothermia, hold my towels. I turn around, she's like, I don't know where they went. And she fucking gave them to Tempo to run off and hide these towels on me. So, like, I'm sitting there in, like, these crazy winds with ice water, drenched cold, like, dying. And she's just laughing. She's like, evil? I don't know. Like,
It's not that bad.
Wow, Caitlin confirmed crazy witch.
There's a lot of good stories from Toronto having to do with Rifkin, actually. Rifkin was just, he was a big dummy that day.
Toronto was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we missed you, Roddy, there.
Yeah, missed you guys too.
The only other anecdote I'd want to just, there was few things in my life that will feel as, I don't know how to describe it, as the moment after we finished. So after my epic hangover, we had to catch WCS the next day, and I just remember when we were done, I got someone from like the office or like was like, so we got a message from Blizzard. They're like, why is the chat spamming give Nate whiskey? I was like, he's like, what were you doing last night? I was like, saving esports, and he's like, I see.
Yeah, this was so funny as well when you know, you already brought it up as well, Riff. Like obviously at BlizzCon there was a lot of downtime, and you know, often they just they wanted to keep us talking because they didn't want to throw it to a pause break. So you know, Nate and me are just buying time and buying time and buying time, and I felt like we're doing a reasonable job. Of course, at a certain point, you know, you're kind of talking about nothing anymore because there's only so many times we could talk about this potential build order on Overgrowth, which is going to come down to pulling the boys anyway. But you know, we were doing our thing and we just kind of look at each other. The camera's not on us, so we're literally just like sitting like this in our chair and we look around and we look at our preview monitor, and then someone grabs like this huge cheerful and he shows it and it says, "Give Nate whiskey," and we just like, I look at Nate and I have like the biggest smile on my face. That was so funny, and like we didn't just want to start laughing at Cass randomly, you know, because it would be really weird. Even though the people at home could see it as well, but we were both like, we were so close to just losing it to this guy who brought the chair.
Someone brought that fucking sign to BlizzCon. Oh.
Oh man.
For me, it was like a Red Bull Detroit. I went back to my hotel. I was with like a mod, a sub, and Drekken, who runs Land Nation. You guys probably seen him. He's like he's black and tall. He's really nice.
He's like the only other black guy. It's not Tempo.
Yeah, exactly. And we were watching, I think, Cats versus Snoot, and then I don't know how we ended up on the topic, but he starts bringing up that, you know, when In Control was in WCG, the TV show, and he was on TV, he starts bringing it up that on Team Liquid, and like they linked a forum of people watching the show, and they were like, In Control is a bear, I would totally fuck him. And they were like, the gay community like really enjoyed In Control's performance on the TV show. And then Drekken starts telling me that I should maybe consider opening to my bear like audience and try to like go for like the whole appeal of like the gay community. And I'm like, are you fucking serious right now? But I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like if we look at Kane, I'm sure it would do well for him, but that was just crazy to me that like back in 2009, like In Control had a lot of gay fans because he looked like a bear. So that's
I guess
there's
you
nothing wrong with
consider
being gay or
the
having gay
percentage
fans,
of
man.
the audience that's male.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I just, you know, it's like things like that. Like you never figured it would like be the way it is, you know. But that's cool. I'm not. I have nothing against gay people, but that was just really cool.
You know, there's one story that Mr. Bitter thinks is like fucking hilarious, and it's like one of Ben's favorite story of all time. When it was like Intox Remasters Kiev in 2012, one of the last tournaments we casted for ESL back then. You know, we wrapped up the event and we had a pretty good show. I felt like, you know, it was a fun tournament. It was the one that MMA won in the final against Dimaga, I believe. But, you know, it was a really fun tournament, good weekend overall. So I'm like just chilling with Ben. I think this is, yeah, like right before we go out on the final night to have some fun. I was like, kind of curious to see what people had to say about us, you know. So go to Team Liquid. I type in Rotterdam, you know, to see like the last, you know, mentions and all the people that like said something about me. I type in Rotterdam, and like literally the last 18 responses were in the Team Liquid gay thread, and everyone is like, "Does anyone else think Roddy is really hot?" Like, I do it, and like Ben is just like fucking losing it. He's like, "Lol," he's like, "Poor Roddy." Like all he wants to see is if people said something about his casting. Instead, the only people that care are the gay people. Well, Roddy, you're very beloved in the gay community. I was like, "Oh, fuck off, man, fuck off." It was kind of funny. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I was gonna say every time we post, guys, make sure you tag Rotterdam now that you know he's searching for it. So
I don't do it too much anymore, but I used to do it. And I thought it was kind of funny, but I was like, well, Ben, don't be jelly. Don't be jelly that the man prefer me over you. You know, you can have it also. I was kind of trying to own it, but it was fun.
That's cool. All right, best success of 2014. I guess we'll do both, like personal and like professional, I guess. Like something that's been like really awesome for you and like maybe your personal life, something you maybe not want to share but just mention briefly or and so on. So think about it. Think
Wait,
about it.
Sorry, what?
Best success of 2014, like whether it's like professional or personal. And if you, I guess you don't want to do personal, you can just do professional. That's okay. Because I mean, like this year was pretty good for everyone. Like no one's gone insane. So yeah, let's start with Nathanias.
Yeah, I mean, I think mine's pretty obvious. Like I started the year living in my ex-girlfriend's basement, commentating StarCraft until 5 a.m. And now I've kind of gotten myself together. So I think the year's been pretty much only up for me. I still like I felt really weird at the beginning of it because I was really nervous. And Roddy, I'm sure, can explain how dumb my messages sounded. And I was like, I don't know if I want to move across the country, man. I'm really scared to just go out in the middle of fucking California by myself. But outside of that, I think, yeah, I've lost like 35 pounds since the start of the year. I fucking go to the gym. I don't know. And I'm kind of happy with how things went. 2014 was a good year.
What about professional?
Going to BlizzCon.
Yeah.
I feel like when I read people's feedback about tournaments and stuff, they all like no one ever looks in the context that this is like the first year that I did a lot of StarCraft as far as events go. But I totally wouldn't have thought that I'd be doing BlizzCon when I started doing like commentary. I'm like, oh no, this might be in like a few years. You know, it's like really difficult to climb the ladder. But going there, being able to like being asked to do it, and then going there and seeing it, that was an unreal experience.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Roddy?
I would say like two things. Last year, 2013, I didn't cast, like talking about the StarCraft 2 professional way, I guess. Last year, I didn't cast any of the IEMs, mostly because NASL didn't allow me, and it was just like really complicated, which I was kind of sad about because I always enjoyed working the IEMs. So this year, I actually did IEM Sao Paulo in the start of the year in February, and recently I felt like we did another IEM, didn't we?
San
Wasn't
Jose.
there? Yeah, that's the one. So, you know, I did 2 IEMs this year, which is really nice. I was happy about that, but I guess the biggest success professionally was doing so much work with a big company like Red Bull. Like Red Bull is just a super badass company all around. You know, everything about Red Bull, in my opinion, is awesome. Their office is so cool. The people that work there are so freaking cool, and the events they put up are, in my opinion, really cool as well. So to be such a prominent figure, I guess, in their tournament series over 2014, I guess that's something that I can be very proud of. And, you know, I did my best, and I'm happy that it went that way. Yeah, outside of StarCraft, I don't know. Wasn't like too much that's really worth talking about. Like, you know, had some adventures, tried some stuff, no luck, move on, you know.
Yeah. What about you, Rifkin?
Well, for my thing, I just want to kind of go off what's going on in chat here. All jokes and trolling aside, I am super stoked Nate's made it far as a cast because we do have like a proper Terran cast here. It feels like everybody is seriously like Zerg or Protoss. There's just not a whole lot of Terran contribution out there. So it's really cool to see him get far. So let's add on to that. But for me, I don't know, man. Like, obviously, my answer's got to be Base Trade TV for like greatest success. Like, we've come so far this year. I think at the start of the year, we were still begging for the chance to even cast like, you know, weekly tournaments. Obviously, we're not quite as far as the BlizzCon or being the big hotshot casters, but I'm really happy with where we are and where we've come. And the fact that we can keep putting on stuff, like I'm no longer having to, like, I'm sure a lot of the supporters will remember where I would be begging around, like, hey man, you got like $20 you can put towards the prize pool, man. Like, we really want to throw this thing. But the fact that we become self-sustaining, I think, is probably my biggest success of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you guys found success because I remember when you were starting out, that was when I was doing a lot of the online stuff and how we were like competing basically over online tournaments to cast and like B streams for tournaments. But, yeah, it's good that someone who does consistent good content is in that space now.
Mm-hmm. What about you, ZombieGrub?
Okay, so personal, I decided to go to Korea. So that's like a pretty big like moment kind of success thing. I guess it's a finalized success once I accept a job, but whatever. I started working out a lot again. So I actually finished like 3 months of Body Beast, and that was pretty cool. It's like a just cool weightlifting thing. You should Google it. Totes. But professionally, it's just like actually being like asked to sign things is pretty cool. So whatever the first person was to ask me to sign something in a non-ironic way, that was a huge success.
Actually, that was actually a pretty big deal. I remember we were at Toronto and someone asked us to sign something. We were both kind of in the audience, like, okay, why? Like, you really want us to waste the ink? Like, what the fuck?
That's not a waste. For me, personally, I've done so much growing this year. Like it's always nice to learn about yourself, because you don't get to it's like you don't get to experience life. Like, I don't know. It's like leveling. It's like RPG. You know, you don't get good at everything all at once. You need experience, and so yeah, that's been a success for me. It's like, I don't know, learning and getting better at stuff personally, and I guess professionally, I'm really happy where Remax has been going. You guys, the support has been crazy. Nathanias still doesn't want to kill me, even though I bug him like so much. The same goes for Rotterdam too. Like, I bug them so much on Skype and Facebook, and they're really patient with me. So I really appreciate that. So and also best success, I would say, like making Premiere in 2014 at the beginning, but that was probably like my peak of my skill, and I don't know if I'll ever get back there in 2015, but I really want to try, despite, you know, being a streamer more than a player. So yeah, that was that for me for 2014. Alright, favorite moment while streaming. Now, Roddy and Nathanias kind of have it easy since they party all the time on stream, but...
Not all the time.
No, I'm just... Well, but you guys have done, like, maybe, like, 5, 6 drunk party streams.
No,
5, 6.
no
throughout the year, yeah!
No,
like, the fundraiser for Detroit,
that's one.
the one you did the other day with, you invited a bunch of people. Did you do the viewing for, like, a final that you streamed before? No.
No, we had a party, but we didn't stream that.
Okay. Well, okay, maybe like 3 or 4.
I had a birthday party, but Nate wasn't there, and we streamed my birthday party a little bit. But...
Yeah. Okay.
So,
okay.
Only 3.
Okay. Doesn't want the tag of a party animal.
Wow,
No,
the sass on that camera.
You're just like portraying us here as 2 huge degenerates. To save esports in Southern California. Where's the
I'm just jelly, man. I miss living with esports people. Like, Korea and Poland was fucking awesome. But anyway, let's get to it. The best moment of streaming, Roddy.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna be boring because I didn't really think about it right now, but that was still Nate's quote about the drunk stream, Nate's first hangover, where he just said that Major is so far behind, he's playing this game from his coffin. I thought it was really fun. Like, maybe if you guys talk about your other moments, I think of something else that's better, but
okay,
that really stands out as the funniest moment for me.
Okay. What about you, Rifkin? Best moment of streaming, since it was actually your question.
Well, I don't really have a bet. I've got a worse moment. Can I go with that?
Sure.
So ZombieGrub convinced me to drink on stream one time just for like an off day. We were like, goofing around or whatever. I learned that being a hand talker and drunk while trying to play StarCraft 2 is a big mistake. I actually ruined my keyboard because I spilled my rum and coke not once, not twice, but 3 times.
What?
And I jammed up some of the gears in my DX Racer that I ended up having to get replaced because all the alcohol got stuck and sticky in there.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know, dude. Like, the thing was, like, I finished. I had to have a shower because, like, I didn't spill like a little bit on it. Like, I spilled the whole thing on me. So I come back like 15 minutes later, and I sit down, I pour myself a new drink, we got the cam on, we're having some fun, and like 5 minutes into this game after sitting down, I spill it all the fuck over my keyboard. I don't know. I'm not good at drinking, period.
That was a really great day, alright? Like, what was better is that... Actually, continue, finish.
Well, I was gonna say that people started donating money specifically so I could buy a sippy cup. So...
Yeah.
Best and worst day, I don't know.
That's probably a good investment.
That same moment, like during, like, I guess like the second or third time he spilled, whiskey on himself, he didn't turn off his mic, okay? So I hear him cursing in the background, like far away. But what's funnier is at one point, I didn't hear Rifkin. I heard what was a very high-pitched girly scream, and I was like, did Rifkin make that noise? But his sister had walked in on him when he was taking off his pants.
I was like pretty much naked, like taking off all the soaking wet, like rum-soaked clothes, and yeah.
Jesus Christ. What about you, ZombieGrub? Best moment of streaming?
I think that was the same day, but after he had given up trying to get drunk. But we were playing 2v2s, and it was a map where...
You're dead.
It was a map where it was like a shared bases, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I was Zerg on like the top side, so in order to spread my creep to a point where it would actually be going out in the map, I kind of had to go over Rifkin. So instead of being considerate and like trying to like go around him, I just went straight through all his production as a Terran player, and I did it so fast that he tried to like go mech but couldn't swap off his barracks or whatever. Yeah, I like that moment. He got really mad.
What about you, Nathanias? Best streaming moment 2014?
It's a pretty easy one for me. So for just a little bit of context, I guess it's like my first year doing a ton of big esports stuff, but I've been streaming since October 2011. So for quite a while, and it all started with like my I was in like Diamond League, my quest to Masters, and then my quest to GM, which I didn't complete in 2011 or 2012 or 2013. So when I finally did it, when I got back from Sweden actually earlier this year in like June, that was like a really big monumental moment for me, because I spent the last 2 years with like people that would hound me just to say like mid-master, never gonna make it. And I also did it for because people like to mention this, before the Hellbat Mind patch shit. So
yeah.
take that as
actually
it is.
I remember that stream too, because you had been talking about like, man, I'm so fucking grumpy, like, and I'm tired, I'm just gonna end the stream here, guys, and like someone
like,
egged you to play like one more. So I was like, ah, grumpy Nate, I don't know why.
Yeah,
so I
that
go to
happened, like,
sleep,
3
and then I
games.
wake up and you got fucking GM.
me.
Like,
I remember that because some people messaged me that they were upset because I was like, guys, I'm not gonna be able to fucking do it. I was like, it's not gonna happen. The dream is dead. And then like Puck messaged me. He's like, just one more, just play one more game. And then it happened like 3 times because I won. And then a bunch of people were like, Nate, you said the stream was over. And then like, what the fuck? But yeah, that was an epic moment for me.
I kind of forgot about that, but I guess the first time I got GM in HOTS was also this year. It's just like in the start of the year. It was like January, February when I was streaming a lot, and I was really happy as well because I was trying pretty hard too, and I was also getting tired of like people calling me mid-master while I was always.
That's what they all say. They never call you high master.
No, I was like literally like ranked 3 to 10 of all Master League players in NA for like 2 months straight, you know, like just so close. Basically, the rank 203, 204. I was so close to GM all the time, but I just couldn't get it. And then like when I just was playing a lot, streaming a lot, and then I had a really good run that night, and then I still remember this freaking epic game on what was it, Heavy Rain against some Protoss player where I was losing, then I was winning, then I was losing, and then it all came down to like some epic fight with 10% Colossus, and then I shot his Colossus, and then I got GM, and I was really, really happy too. Yeah. Those were good times.
I didn't realize that was this year for you. I just always thought, that's
I mean, I got it in Wings, but I never got it in HOTS up to January.
For me, it was after Red Bull Atlanta. So it was sort of bad and sort of good because my flight got delayed. So that meant that I would miss out on the WCS qualifier for Season 3. But the fucking Wi-Fi in Philly, 60 down, 30 up, let's go. So I had my laptop from Asus, by the way, shout out to Asus. I fucking streamed at midnight in a food court in my fucking socks, like just chilling on a fucking, like it was on a table of like the food court. And then because I'm on the Wi-Fi, I just unplugged the battery and I went around and I showed people like, here's the airport of Philly. And then I went back and I laddered for a few hours. It was the fucking craziest thing. That was, I didn't even put it on YouTube, and now it's lost because of the Twitch VOD, so Ripperino. But that was really cool being able to stream from an airport like that.
American internet is so much better. I hate it.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That was like once in a blue moon. They suck as well.
I've been fighting the Canadian struggles recently, so.
Right. Let's move on to 2015. The biggest change you want to make, personal and professional, like things you want to either you want to happen for your like own stream or for your like casting gigs or whatever, and then personal. Biggest change for 2015, like biggest wish and stuff.
Who first?
Oh yeah, that's a good question, eh? Jessica.
Come on, host.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I am actually doing what I want. I'm gonna have my own place living in Korea. So that's two things I've always wanted, recently. So recently wanted. And I guess professionally, I won't be able to do as much casting, but hopefully I still be able to cast, like, especially like the Korean qualifiers that we seem to have all the time nowadays. So things are looking kind of bright. And like actually use my YouTube. Yeah, and all like the qualifiers that we're doing like this week, for instance.
Yeah.
But and actually like use my YouTube channel because I'm gonna like do videos when I'm in Korea and stuff. So. Yeah.
Are you in Korea right now?
No, February.
What about you, Riff?
Oh, this is like a much harder question to answer. I thought. Can I come back to this later?
Yes, Nathanias.
So the personal one for me is I don't know if I missed out on a childhood. So I'm really excited to learn how to drive this next year. Get a car and like go around and just like see shit, cause Los Angeles is really fucking big. So working on more like stuff like that, continuing to work out, I don't know, hit my weight goal, shit like that, personal stuff. Professionally, I don't know if I'm allowed to put this under professional goals, but I'd like to qualify for Challenger. Like if I had like a really out there goal, that's what I would do. Because in my opinion, most of the stuff I want to do player wise helps me as a caster anyway. So that's my excuse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe if you stop dodging me when I ask for games, even though you're streaming, motherfucker.
Come on, play fucking games on stream, man.
Roddy, what about you?
I guess StarCraft wise, I guess I just like I hope to do the same amount of events that I did this year. You know, I hope to do a lot of stuff with Red Bull again. Like that makes me really happy because they're awesome. Obviously, want to cast WCS again, and also when Legacy of the Void comes out, you know, I want to keep streaming like I'm doing now. Obviously, when the casting really starts again, I won't be able to stream like I do right now, like 40 hours a week or something. Like that's impossible if I also cast that much. But I do want to, you know, at least 2-3 days a week stream. And when Legacy of the Void comes out, I want to be like GM in the first wave, you know, first or second wave. Like I want to be there immediately and try to get as good at the game as possible. So that's pretty much my goals for StarCraft. Personal, my American visa actually expires in August. It's already been 3 years then. Actually, it's in March 3 years that I've been in America, but it truly, like the visa truly expires in August or September. So I really need to work on that. So obviously personal goal is to find myself an American wife as soon as possible and marry her so I get a green card. Nah, just kidding.
Or husband, like gay thread.
Oh!
Yeah, Nate already offered in case it goes wrong that I can marry Nate. So
I was thinking about that actually. Like, what's wrong? What's wrong if you marry someone just for like the green card? Do you have to pass a test or? There's
a lot of wrong with that, so I will not do that.
Oh.
But
He also like literally can't do it if he talks about it on his stream with his proof that he's talked about it. Like.
No, but that's a bad idea anyway. I don't want to live like that. So I'm gonna work on that as soon as possible, and then obviously, you know, this year I want to keep working out. And the number one thing is that like I really have to get a lot better in balancing things in my life. Like I get really obsessed and OCD with like doing one thing all out. Like either it's all casting, or then it's all working out, or then it's all partying, or then it's all streaming, or then it's having a girlfriend, and then it's like only the girlfriend. Like I'm really bad in balancing things. So I want to get better at that this year, and I also want to start boxing for the first time in my life and like try to beat my brother once, because I've tried my entire life, but he's still stronger than me. So one day I'm coming for him.
Hashtag the dream.
Kickboxing is super fun. Just do kickboxing.
Nah, kickboxing is too much for me.
I'm gonna shoot guns too, man.
Yeah, just boxing. I have long arms. That's my advantage.
What about you, Riff?
So this is really hard, man. Like, there's so many things that I think I would have said at this, like if you asked me this question last year, it would have been things like, oh, I'd love to cast like an event for StarCraft 2, or I'd love to cast Koreans, or but like at this point, like I mean, I don't really have the goals or aspirations to try and get hired by ESL or Blizzard, and I think the realism is it's probably not going to happen anyways. So I'm actually really happy with where I'm at. I don't have a lot of professional goals other than just keep doing what we're doing. I know that sounds so lame, but I mean, like, I don't want to just end up having base trade TV fall off into the nothingness one day out of nowhere. So, as silly and lame as and almost, I guess, non-ambitious as that sounds, I just want base trade TV to keep going well. So that's my professional one. As far as a personal goal, I mean, I guess to start eating a little bit better. I think my biggest demotivation for like working out is like I'm okay with my body image, so that's probably the one thing I get ragged on the most. If I had to put like a personal goal, I guess it would be lose weight, but at the same time, I'm pretty happy with where I am. It's such a lame thing. I don't have a lot of goals, I guess, as it turns out. Just keep on keeping on.
Okay, that's cool. For me, I want to be so much more consistent when making content for the community. Like, I try to make guides, but it's always like a fucking nightmare. Like, do I make a guide, but then every fucking Zerg that's gonna play me knows that I like this build? Like, and then, so if I have qualifiers or tournaments coming up, like, what do I do about that? So, it's always, but I want to be more consistent about guides. I want Remax to be doing better. I want to do call-ins next year. That's something that's scary, that scares me. And I guess for personal, obviously losing weight, and sometimes be better at relationships. I mean, if you know my history, I'm sure you can do 2 + 2 together and figure out that I'm not the best at that, but yeah. So anyway, so that wraps up all the things we wanted to talk about. That leaves us with about 15 minutes of Q&A from Reddit and Twitter. But by now, it's a little bit too late to post on Reddit because you're not going to get upvoted, so the odds of me reading your question is smaller, so you can get on Twitter instead.
Oh, desRow.
Get on your bot. Get on your bot and
described-
upload the shit out of your own post. There you go.
You just described circle jerking, man. You got to pick the best post, not the one everyone jerks the most, right? Like,
Well, no, but it's just about the... No, but come on, man. Don't give me crap. All right. What's everyone's biggest wish for 2015 that doesn't have to do with Blizzard implementing a new feature by Fear Dragon? Rifkin.
What?
What's everyone's biggest wish for 2015 that doesn't have to do with Blizzard implementing a new feature?
So does this mean like it's just not StarCraft related
Yeah.
at all? Or?
Well, I think...
like this guy's like, well, I wish for a new car.
My biggest wish. Can I win the lottery? Is that
Yeah. Like,
Exactly.
Fear
Captain
Dragon
America
didn't...
serum?
Fear Dragon wasn't... Yeah.
You know, it could be like, more tournaments in Korea or something. God,
Yeah.
shit on Fear Dragon.
There you go.
Jeez.
Well, my biggest wish would be that things like breaking out could be a little more successful. No, I mean, all jokes aside, though, it would be cool to see. Yeah, like this is probably the most outstanding wish. I wish there was a bigger resurgence in the North American scene. I wish something would happen where I could base myself more around my own time zone and less about Europe and Korea. So it would be cool if more NA stuff could pick up, but that's a wish for sure.
So Riff, a question to you. Do you think there is a lack of NA stuff because there is a lack of tournaments, or do you think there is a lack of willingness to go to places from NA players?
I'm gonna piss somebody off with this answer. I think it's like it's almost both, really. I definitely think we had a lot of tournaments, but when they disappeared, it's not like that's what killed everything, right? Zotac Cups and the old ESL stuff, but I don't know. I don't know how I would solve it. That's why it's my wish that somebody else can fix it.
Yeah, I mean, NA is really fucking big. We don't have a lot of sponsors. Like the players, it's really expensive to go across the continent.
Yeah.
So
and it sucks too because like it's not even just that, but there's not a lot of venue locations. You can't just walk into a town and like you're able to just make something. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. Well, sorry. I'm dying over here. I mean, that's true. But for instance, at the Red Bull Battlegrounds events, like I think top 32 got paid. Was it 16 or 32? It's 32, right?
32.
Yeah,
Top
like top
32.
32. I mean, obviously, if you finish 17 to 32nd, then you're not going to get a whole lot of money, but it will still help to cover a little bit. While
Yeah.
in the old days, people like flew to every MLG for 6 times a year, even though they had absolutely 0.0% chance of
And
placing
they only
top
paid
top
like
eight,
top 8.
and they
Fucking
wouldn't
dumb.
ever make it. So I really don't understand that. Like this year, tournament-wise, to make money as an NA pro, it was actually easier than it has been in a very, very long time. Obviously, if you say like, no, in the old days we had the region lock WCS, like, yeah, okay, that was easier, but that was only 1 year anyway, so.
Mm-hmm. So what about you, Roddy? What's your biggest wish that it's not a Blizzard feature?
It's more just like the player base, man. It's just like I really hope that a lot of people get very excited about Legacy of the Void and that we can get a healthy, sustainable scene. And I don't have to be part of the biggest esport. Like, yeah, would it be awesome to be the biggest? Of course, it would be awesome. But I'm not too keen. Like, whether we have 100,000 or 250,000. Like, I would be very happy if we get 100,000 for a bunch of tournaments again when Legacy of the Void comes out and everybody generally enjoys the game, not just watching it, but also play it. And I really think that like Archon mode is going to help so much in keeping people to play StarCraft 2. Like I have quite a few super casual StarCraft 2 friends that I just met, like not via StarCraft, but I knew that they like StarCraft, and I know that those guys, they're so excited for stuff like Archon mode. So that is just my biggest wish, man. I just hope that Legacy of the Void is going to be a hit, and that everyone will enjoy the beautiful game that we love to play.
Yeah. What about you, Nate?
I want to see more, less excuses from more American players. Our region is gonna get gangbanged again next year by Koreans.
Yes.
Whether or not Legacy of the Void is, the magical serum, the only way that our scene comes back is either Legacy of the Void makes the game so stupidly difficult that, like, someone comes up with some stupid cheese and shit, makes one tournament run, and then NA StarCraft is gone. But I would prefer that we get some more people that step up. I wouldn't mind seeing someone like Intense become a god next year, because he had some pretty good performances.
Ariam.
Ariam's too young, though, is the problem.
He's demotivated, though, because he got kicked out of WCS, because he can't play.
Oh, my God.
So,
yeah, like Ariam was really good. It sucks that his age is the factor. That's the most BS reason to shut somebody down.
The only good players we have in the North American scene they play a couple of tournaments, but they don't try to play all of them, especially the online tournaments.
Yeah, like guys like Kane, for instance. Like I love Kane, but
like,
I think
see Kane, Hawk, and Scarlet in like the online tournaments, and that's like
to be honest, if Major actually starts showing up to tournaments that he qualifies for, then you have like 5-6 North Americans that are actually really good and exciting to watch. Like I am really excited if I see Scarlet play against Hawk, QXC, or Kane or whatever. That's really cool. But for some reason we see that very rarely. Like there's just like no excuse for that. Like someone like Kane. And I love Kane, so he's not going to take it wrong. But in my opinion, he should be more successful than he currently is. I think he made a couple of weird choices. Like, he left NA and went to Europe in a time that I actually think there were a lot of tournaments in NA that he could have done reasonably well in. Yeah. Instead, he goes to, like, DreamHack tournaments with 32 Koreans. It's just like, I'm still waiting for Kane to have, like, a magical run. Because I know that he's good enough to do that. And hopefully next year we have a few more. Like, maybe Soppy is going to play a lot again. Maybe Xenocider, because he starts streaming again. Like, those are all pretty damn exciting players to watch. So I agree with Nate. Like, less excuses. And, like, we should just... I want to see them shine, because I know they can. They're exciting, good players.
So I want to actually, since we seem to have 3 people talking about this similar thing, I just want to throw in something. Like, I remember when they announced the changes for WCS this year, it was while we were casting, I think, like an IEM America qualifier or something, and immediately, not 1 or 2 people, every single person in that chat was like, well, fuck this, what's the point of playing StarCraft? And, like, I made a little joke about, like, come on, guys, don't be scared, you gotta take out the Koreans, and, like, everyone got really mad that I was saying this, and it bugs me, because, like, you've got the pros that we would love to see, like the Scarlet QXCs, like Rotterdam just mentioned, and when we see them in the America qualifiers, it's amazing, it's fun, the games are great, but then at the same time, it's like, I feel like it's a completely opposite dynamic of what we have in, say, Europe. Where, like, you'll see Little Bo and Snoot and TLO, like, they'll be in Go for StarCrafts. They'll play in just about everything they can get their hand on. And they go toe-to-toe with Koreans. Like, Little Bo in 2 different tournaments has taken Koreans to, like, the ace match. She even beat Impact just recently. I mean, I just feel like if there was more motivation in the North American scene from like all the people we already love, we could have that same level of like awesome.
Professionally speaking, Europeans are fucking light years ahead of Americans.
But you know what you mentioned a player like Lilbo there, Riff, and I think that that's like the entire problem lays within that. Lilbo is a very new school player, right? He wasn't riding the money success of StarCraft 2 in 2011, 2012. For some of these North Americans that were making a lot more money 2 years ago than it is now, it is less motivating. Someone like Lilbo, if he wins $200, you know, that's probably really nice for him because he hasn't really won a whole lot yet in his career. Not trying to sound like you know, downplaying him or something, because he's really good, and I hope he wins a lot more. But for instance, you know, players that have had really high salaries in the past, yeah, they are not too motivated to play in these online cups. But like that's a small issue of the NA scene as well. A few people had a lot of success early on, and now in a way they maybe feel like too big to participate in certain events, or don't think it's worth it. But it is important for the scene in general that like new talent also has the chance to play against those old school big names, you know.
Yeah.
Moving on. What about you, ZombieGrub?
So it kind of goes hand in hand with like just Legacy of the Void being like good for StarCraft, but hopefully more teams, especially for Americans. There's basically only one. Well, yeah, only one team. I'm going to say like Root is high, like, you know, a big team. Technically, they have Complexity, but there's only 3 guys who are actually still participating.
Yeah, Midday's gonna fall off, and so is Taiga, sadly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like, you know, we heard rumors like a year ago about some of the LoL teams looking at the NA team, and then the WCS rules were announced, and they were like, well, what's the point? So while the new WCS still isn't that great, you know, they split it up for the Americans. Like, if Legacy of the Void gets more popular and there's more teams, especially like rich teams from like League of Legends, then that would really help the NA scene actually have the motivation.
Yeah, get a team like Cloud9 to invest, and Legacy of the Void comes out. It's a fucking pot shot, but if a few teams did that, I think it'd be massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Players worth picking up.
Yeah, I just I want the tournaments to release their schedule earlier, like like ESL and ESL EU. I feel like they're always like no one's never sure when to fucking release their schedule, and that's really annoying. And I guess that involves Blizzard, even though he said not Blizzard, but also the tournament map pools. I feel like they should be like a month in advance instead of being like a few weeks. So that's my wish. Okay, moving on to next question. Okay, we kind of did that already. Nathanias, you said you've lost 40 pounds this year to get suave camera ready look. How important are appearances to get success in esports?
I mean, like anything in life, nothing is fair. if there was one thing I whined about a lot at the start of the year, it was 2014 tournaments, much more than anything that had to do with my commentary. Want everything else to be improved because, you know, it's a show, I guess. And I can't say that my initial motivation wasn't sparked a bit by, like, basically being told that I should, you know, go to the gym or try to get nicer clothes, which I did once I started to get, like, actually have, like, money in my bank account. But it's important, the number of people that see you. Just because someone that knows StarCraft is like, oh, it doesn't matter if Nate is, like, you know, overweight or fit. It's like they'll be happy with my commentary. There, when somebody else at the company or something, like, or someone else that wants looking at the tournament or looking at me potentially hiring me, like, the deliveries in all ways of the product is a pretty big deal. So it didn't matter getting in to esports. It didn't matter for my success, but it certainly mattered when I wanted to stick around and do more stuff. So it wasn't like an obstacle in my path. It was just something that I needed to overcome myself this year to make what I do, I guess, more presentable.
Just a quick one, because I really want to get through more questions, and we have to end in 10 minutes, otherwise I'm going to have to chop my left balls for...
No. It's not that bad. Don't worry if we
Okay.
run a few minutes later. It's not that
Okay,
bad.
okay. Well, I guess maybe, I don't know if Base Trade did the new maps, but I know, Nathanias, you did KSL, Kappa Star League. Mevis on Reddit is asking impressions on the Season 1 map pool.
It's.
I like them.
I'm not sure what to really make of it. I'm probably gonna run another best of 9 or something on the maps, but basically, they don't seem too bad. I feel like a lot more stuff is possible on them. Some of them still feel like, which one of it has like a fucking massive main base? So TVT is still going to be terrible. You're going to see lots of, I guess,
It's like that desert one that's
some
just
of
like
them
asking for
Blink, I
blink
think, works on
stalkers.
too. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't like the back door expand, because there's 2 maps with one.
I just imagine Protosses are going to be really sad this season because the third bases are all really, really horrible.
Yeah, but that goes
they're
for
really
when we're
terrible.
being... That goes when we're being aggressive with warpisms and shit, so you guys will be...
Now you guys DT dropping every game. I can't deny your third anyway.
Hey, there you go. All right, Jessica, you sounded like you had some thoughts about the maps.
We cast it just like literally 2 hours ago. We
Oh.
used the new maps for a show match. We only got to see 2 though because it was a 3-0, and we saw Secret Spring and Expedition Lost. Expedition Lost has like the back rocks in your main, and Secret Spring has the in-base expansion. Secret Spring looks horrible. God no!
Yeah.
I'm not playing on the map as any race. Like the third's really far away. I'm not sure which one you're supposed to take. It's like obviously very good for Blink Stalkers. No thank you.
That's all I could think about. I'm just like, this is heavy rain, man. Like,
Nah, Secret Spring. Like I don't know about the other ones, but I really do not like the look of Secret Spring.
Okay. What do you think of Africa expanding outside of Korea? Rifkin.
Africa.
What?
Africa.
Africa.
Not Africa.
Whoa.
Africa.
I don't know. We talked a little bit about this before the show. Like, Africa is this weird foreign thing for me that I just think is a bit funny. And it's not because I'm
Yeah.
a Twitch snob. Like, they call their people broadcast jockeys, guys. So I go to the Facebook page, and the first thing I see is like, who's your favorite BJ? Vote here. Like, I feel like understanding is going to require a little bit of translation.
That is awesome. I didn't even know that. That's great.
So I know Africa is really popular with Brood War, so I actually watch Africa somewhat like regularly with the new Team Liquid thing. Yes, they call all of their like streamers BJs. And but I think he wants more than just that commentary for his question. In regards to like being like a competitor to Twitch, they actually probably have a pretty decent shot. Like Africa is really, really big. I think the best thing that they have for them, if they do implement it overseas or whatever, like I assume they're gonna be the exact same thing but in English, is that I'm pretty sure you actually pay them to like hand the, how do I put it? Like instead of having to donate to one person's PayPal or subscribe to them, you can actually like just give money to Africa and then like have like a collection of money, you know, and give it to whoever streams in Africa. And that doesn't sound like a big deal because like what's the matter? Like just PayPal them. But I think it actually is easier. Like donations with balloons are absolutely huge on Africa. Like Bisu makes a lot of money in balloons. That's like the currency, I guess. So.
Yeah, the balloons are really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really big company. It's like one that's also not sketchy like Azubu. So we'll actually like get to see like
Allegedly,
what actually
ZombieGrub? Allegedly?
I'm sorry.
Allegedly.
You sketchy.
Alright, moving on to the next. Oh, 2 episodes ago, Penguin said that team sponsor most likely lose money on StarCraft 2. Total Biscuit talked about it, so I imagine what it is true for the majority of teams. With the new sponsorship between Winter and Nvidia, I was wondering why companies sponsor streamers instead of pro teams or events. I feel like the only one really enjoying the sponsorship of streamers are the fan base of that streamer and not the community. Sure, they sometimes host online events powered by sponsor, but from what I saw, these events are only hosted once since they realize that it is not bringing back their investment. If companies realize that sponsoring a team is not worth it, you think with Legacy of the Void we will have more teamless players like Bomber and Polt?
All right, desRow. Who would you rather sponsor if you have a company?
What?
Would you rather sponsor Korean pro gamer Pro Tools 4Gate, like top 32 every tournament, or sponsor Winter for 5,000 people all the time?
I-
Who would you sponsor?
I would sponsor Winter. I'm not.
Yeah.
So that's like answers the entire question. Like it makes so much sense. And you could say, is it good for the scene? Like maybe not, but there is also just like maybe some other people should just like also think about it. That yeah, we live in a world. Nate said it before. Like not everything is fair. No. This is not tennis where, as long as you're a top 100 player in the world, you're going to make a shit ton of money anyway because you get $5,000 for entering every tournament and you get like $15,000 for winning one round in whatever tournament it is. Like, no, we are not there yet. So yes, people have to think outside of the box as well. It's not all about your results, unless indeed you can live off that, but then you have to be really, really, really freaking good. So, and if you're not, then yeah, start streaming, start promoting yourself. It's part of the industry.
And as far
It
as like the
sucks, too.
sponsorship returns and coming back and shit, I think for streamers, like sponsoring something like Base Trade TV versus sponsoring a small team, they're gonna get so much back on the broadcasting side because, like, what the idea that people seem to have about what sponsorships are, it's like, oh, just give these people money so they can play. Well, that's like the dumbest investment you can make unless you're sponsoring the guy that's actually winning everything on very highly viewed tournaments, because otherwise you're mostly just pissing your money away. But like when you have someone like Winter, like you said, streaming all the time like that, or you have like a tournament organizer that just has your logo there all the time, or a streamer that like plugs your content regularly or like your product, it's just a better way to do it. In fact, I think it's healthier for the scene because you're keeping the people that produce content that gets eyeballs in the scene. Like, people will be like, oh, well, let's, it's like, I don't like Winter, I don't like Avalos, so we get rid of all of them. There's no one that actually watches StarCraft anymore. And you have a couple Koreans that don't win anything that get paid salaries, and everybody's like, well, why does no one watch the game? This guy that 7-gate all ends every single game, well, he can afford to play StarCraft now. Well, whoop-de-fucking-do, man. That sponsor doesn't make any money on it. Hope he enjoys his, 3 months of salary, because they're going to realize it was the dumbest life choice they've ever made, and then that's it. It's all over.
It sucks too because as Rotterdam said, you really got two choices. One is either be popular or be good, right? And the problem is in between both of those is where everybody is, and to become one or the other, you can't really stream that much. Like if you want to become good at StarCraft, like it's so counterintuitive to stream. You give away your build orders, people will counter you in a tournament. So I mean, like I'm not saying that's the only way to go, but just like generally speaking, I think it's why a lot of these guys stopped streaming. We had so many people who streamed. I remember then WCS came out and all these bigger tournaments, and we saw a lot of these players who would regularly stream become less inclined to stream.
Yeah, but that also has to do with the fact that the viewing numbers used to be better and they just used to make more money, and now they don't want to stream because they, it's like, it's not really worth it anymore. Like I've seen some of the old Twitch, daily ad revenues of like the golden age of StarCraft 2, where I still hate myself for not streaming in that age. Like I don't know what was wrong with me, but if you see the graphics of those months, that is literally insane. If you compare that to this day and age, like that it's like you're streaming for probably 5 times as less money as they used to get. So obviously that's one of the reasons why they're not streaming, but I really don't agree with that. I don't think you have to choose between being popular or good, because if you're really good, then you get popular anyway. Like, the Naniwas and stuff, they never had to stream. They will be popular anyway because they were good enough. And then you can also there's a difference between streaming 60 hours a week or let's say stream 12 to 16 hours a week. If you still stream 16 hours a week, how much of that is your entire practice? That is maybe 1/4 of your entire practice in a week. If you just stream that, if during those hours you just kind of work on your mechanics a little bit, you talk with your fan base, I don't think that makes you a worse player at all. You don't have to show the back of your tongue when you're streaming. You don't have to do your WCS builds. Just put yourself out there a little bit. Stream a couple hours here and there, and that would already help so much. And that helps so much for all the people that you say are kind of the in-between, like popular or good.
Yeah, but
I don't think you have to choose.
I think you're talking about the end goal here. I'm talking about the road to get there. You don't none of this stuff's obviously overnight, and it's I don't know. I guess agree to disagree. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but it's not the same point.
I mean, you say if you're an unknown, and then you have to choose whether you want to be popular or good. If you're unknown, why would you have to hide your build? if you've never proved anything anyway, it's not like I'm gonna hide my builds with WCS, even though I've never won
Right,
fucking
but that's what
anything
I'm
in my
saying.
life.
So like, let's take desRow for example. Like, he wants to stream so much, but with WCS coming up, I know he's talked a lot about cutting back on it. So I mean, like, desRow, for you, because you're kind of one of those, like, I guess, in betweens right now.
Yeah.
Do you like? Are you worried about streaming because you don't want to show builds because you want to get better, or like
Yeah,
where do
you
sit
just
on it?
you just play better when you're not streaming. And yeah, the builds kind of help. Like, it's very easy to spot my barcode because I'm like ranked 25 GM, so people can just like they know every time they play me. So that's that. Like not being able to hide, just playing worse. It's a really tough balance. It's really tough.
I'm not
Yeah, but
saying
like,
yeah, it's not that you don't have to stream, but it definitely deters you from wanting to.
Yes.
But desRow is someone who has 9 million views on his Twitch channel and 25,000 followers on his Twitch channel. I don't think we have to talk about desRow like he's not sure what he wants to do or how he wants to make it. Like, I think desRow is doing quite fine. desRow has personal sponsors. Like, how many players out there have personal sponsors? Why does desRow have personal sponsors? Because he's been streaming for a long time.
Yeah.
All right. That settles it.
Yeah, desRow, spread some of the dirty esports money if you throw out that scene.
All right. To everyone, if you could bring back a player or an event, which one would it be? Damn. We'll start with Nathanias.
Bring back a player. Well, I'm the worst person to ask. I've been around here the least out of anybody here.
What? Come on.
Yeah, man. I didn't actually watch like StarCraft tournaments until like mid 2012. So
Yeah.
people forget that. But as far as people I miss goes, can we get back? Oh man. I guess I miss having a really good American. I miss having an American to cheer for.
So Idra?
Yeah, I'd want Idra to be back and good. Good Idra back.
What about tournament?
I mean, the only one I really experienced that's gone is IPL. And I mean, IPL 5 was fucking amazing. Like, if we could just magically have that and not worry about money.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
fucking do that every month, man. Let's drive to fucking Vegas.
I had my fucking plane ticket for Vegas, but then they canceled. Motherfuckers. What about you, Jessica? One player to bring back.
Oh, Boxer, followed by Idra. As far as an event, actually, I was gonna say MLG, but not 2014 MLG, where MLG Anaheim was. Yeah, but like 2012 MLG, right? Like that was like their highlight year when they like got the Brood War pros over for that Anaheim. I think that was the year. Like that year, like going home after school to start watching MLG when it started like 7 o'clock, and like watching it completely for all 3 days was the hypest shit ever. So.
Have you ever attended an MLG besides the one in 2014?
No.
Oh. Now, one of the cool things I missed from MLG from that time was the battle stations. So,
Yes.
like, you had, like, a big crowd, like, they would have, like...
Those are so sick.
They had, like, 4...
Elevate areas.
Yeah, they had, like, 4 PCs on a platform with, like, big monitors hooked up above the player, so you could just watch, like, over the shoulder while under the shoulder.
Oh! Oh, no, I
So
did go.
good.
I'm sorry. I went to Raleigh, actually, so
Yeah.
I do know what you're talking about
Yes.
with those.
Yes,
Yeah.
those
okay.
were really awesome. What about you, Rifkin? Player, tournament?
It's hard. Nate says he's probably the newest one here, but I'm probably like even fresher than this kid. Just older. I don't know. For me, like I didn't really know a lot of the Super Bowl players. Like if I had to pick, like it might be cool to see Sella because I've just heard so much about him, but like I've never really seen him or heard much about him like firsthand. Just rumors and what I've seen on Reddit and stuff. An actual player to bring back though, he's not even been gone that long, but like I would love to see Golden back already, man. I miss him.
All right.
It's only been like a month or two, but like it kind of sucks that he's gonna be gone for like a year.
What about tournaments?
I don't know, man. I didn't get to do a lot of tournaments. I didn't get to watch a lot of tournaments, so I mean, like I when I got really into StarCraft 2, I mean, like that was right around the time like NSL was starting up, MLG was already pretty much out the door. I never knew IPL. Like I don't have a lot of experience with other tournaments, so I don't know what I want to see to come back.
What about you, Roddy?
All right. Well, as players to come back, like when you talk about like a player that was like really big on the scene, I want to see my dear friend Johan Lucchesi, also known as Nanniwa. I want to see the Dragon Slayer come back. He's been active in my chat lately when I stream, and I asked him. I was like, "Hey, Johan, where's my Christmas present?" And he said like, "Well, I blocked every girl I talked to on Twitter, and now I'm playing a lot of StarCraft. So that is your present, Kevin." So you know, it's starting to look good. I really, really hope that Naniwa comes back for real. You know, out of the, I think like by now, like 7 or 8 years that I know Naniwa, I think out of those 8 years, he blocked me or deleted me everywhere for like 4 years, like on and off periods, you know, like a year block, a year friends, a year block. So I have a really interesting relationship with Naniwa, but I do really like having him around. I like seeing tournaments, and if you talk like how Jessica was talking about stuff she was really hyped for, I remember when I was sitting in the old house we had here in Renshaw, and I was watching the DreamHack, I think it was DreamHack Stockholm, I'm not sure, where Naniwa played in the final against Linux. Like man, I was so hyped. I was so hyped for those games.
shit was
Oh, that was a good rivalry.
Yeah, that was so good. Like those games were sick with all the Muda switches back to ultras. Like the game on Ekelon Waste is fucking cool, you know. So Naniwa really got me hyped. A lesser big player on the scene that I would really like to see come back was the Austrian Protoss player called Munchi. I'm not sure if you guys know him, but
Of course.
just a total badass. Like that guy, like as soon as he was done playing StarCraft, he like starts grabbing his dirt bike and he's like jumping over hills as a motorcyclist, breaking his elbow, 5 months inactive, comes back, wins a go for StarCraft 2, you know, like really good looking guy as well. Just basically like a German version of Bling, but then he was Austrian. Like just a really, really cool dude. I would like to say, I kind of miss him. He was really fun to have around. And tournament, obviously, I'm gonna say NASL RIP, but I would only want to have NASL back if they would actually listen to the advice that, you know, the casters gave the front office. So maybe NASL back with a different front office, Kappa.
For me, I can't believe you guys didn't mention him too much. I really like Stefano. Like, we needed a rock star. Like, the gif of him, like, with the tongue, with the licking. You guys have seen that gif, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that gif is pretty awesome. Stefano is just like a badass motherfucker that doesn't give a fuck. In tournaments, it would be bringing back Too Good into the scene. I feel like someone we can go toe-to-toe with in control is just god-like person. That tournament clip highlight where... where In Control and Too Good would just go at extremes to make each other laugh was just really fun for me. So if we could have like more laid-back tournaments in 2015, that's what I would like. Alright, let me try to wrap this up. Maybe one last question. I think we've done it all, guys. Okay, let's do a last one. Who was the coolest player/fan you met this year?
Okay, so a player couldn't be someone we already met, right? It has to be a guy that we never met before?
Yeah, like the first time you meet someone, like player or fan.
Cool.
Go for it, Nathanias.
I mean...
Fan is easy.
Player I met is easy. Fan is pretty easy,
Who's
too.
the player?
I met Ariam this year.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, man. This fucking baller. And he eliminated... He's, like, one of the only guys, like, knocked Korean out of WCS. Was pretty sick. At least WCS America. And then Fan, it's JD, baby. Archnog, my man.
Oh, nice. What about you, Rotterdam?
Yeah, I'm thinking of players that I've only met this year that I didn't meet before, because there are not a whole lot. I'm thinking of home circle. No, I think, you know, one of the guys that I met for the first time, I guess, was Mini Razor. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's quite funny. And what's the name of this other Swedish kid that was here recently? Man,
Zanster?
Yeah, Zonster. Zonster is like the dumbest kid I've ever met in my life. Like, super long story short, he basically showed 2 absolute crackheads where I live. I was like, well, thank you, Zonster. That's really, really useful. Now I have to lock my door 4 times at night. Like, that just made no sense. But in the end, he seems like a good kid. So yeah, those Swedish guys, I guess because most of the other guys I already knew before, so unless I'm forgetting someone that I'm terribly sorry about, but yeah, I like those 2 Swedish guys. And the fan is the same as Nate, like we said before, Archnog on Twitter. I think he's private like ARCH NOG or something.
Yeah.
Just a really, really cool guy. Definitely the coolest fan that I've met this year. And I've met a lot of cool fans, don't get me wrong. Every event, always meet a lot of cool people. Like this Alex dude who bought 15 drinks in the hotel bar. That was really cool. But JD is the man.
What about you, Rifkin?
This is tough because I've never met a player before in my life before MLG Anaheim, and that's like the first people I got to meet were fucking rock stars, dude. Balloon, Stardust, Penguin, Hearthstone, Mini Razor. Just hang out with Cats and everyone backstage. I mean, it was really. It's hard for me because I met so many cool people that I never in my life that I would have met. Like Jadong. First time I met Jadong, he didn't really know who I was, but like he knew what Base Trade TV was. Second time I met Jadong, he waved me down to say hi. Like, I mean, there's a lot of really cool moments. I really can't nail just one player, so I'm gonna give a really lame answer, say everybody. But fans, definitely gonna go to Zelzam for me. He's a sub on our channel. Dude, that guy is cool as hell. And he's a little bit corny in real life, but I like him.
Yeah, super cool.
Actually, the coolest guy, the coolest guys I met this year are actually like two of the players, two of the American guys, Jesse Love from DOS Gaming, and Padre from what team? Solaris Gaming, right? Yeah, like actually those two. I've never met them before. This year, I think this is the first year I ever met them. Padre and Jesse, really, really, really cool dudes. Good North American StarCraft players. Yeah, for sure, those two.
Nice.
Yeah, Captain America, I love. He's a pretty cool dude. I like him.
What about you, Jessica?
So my favorite player has to be Jadong. I hadn't met him before, and he was my favorite. And we didn't have like a super cool moment or anything. It was just pretty fan to player kind of deal there. But meeting like my own fans, I met so many cool people in Toronto, like Green Tea and Zelasam and Saifa. But my favorite fan so far has got to be like the guy that I met after scaring Rifkin in Anaheim at the hotel. That just because like I talked to him for 10 minutes, 8 minutes in, he was like, your voice sounds really familiar, and I said, you probably like heard me like talk sometimes, and he was so excited, like so excited. He was the actual like the first fan that was like, it's kind of like a dream of mine to meet you, and I was like, me? Really? Oh, that's flattering. He was very, very excited.
Actually, I'm gonna change my player answer. Just going back on it, since Rotterdam is technically a player. It's pretty cool meeting this guy a couple of different times.
Oh, so corny.
I still am a player.
Well, yeah, I actually I would actually make that my serious answer on this one because like Rotterdam, when I met him, like I don't know, dude. Your online persona, you don't know what to expect. This kind of cocky guy, likes to do stupid builds, like whatever. When I met you, hashtag Roddy build.
That is sarcasm.
No, come on. No, it's not insult. My point is, like, when I met you, you were really down to earth. You were such a cool person, and like you treated me like an equal, and it wasn't awkward at all. So it was really nice meeting you at a couple different events. It wasn't long, but it was cool.
But I met you already once in 2013, didn't I?
Definitely not. First time I left the country was this year.
I did, but Canada 2013 WCS.
Wasn't there. I couldn't go cross country.
I felt
that
like
was WCS Toronto. No, yeah, or not WCS, NASL Toronto or whatever, right? You're talking about, or
and
or whatever that was.
season 3.
I've never been to Toronto before I went to Toronto. I wanted to go though.
Well, then I guess you're also one of the cool guys I met this year. I thought I met you last year. Okay, well, it feels like we've known each other forever, Rick.
Oh, that bromance. For me, it was meeting Jadong and then him watching a video of me dancing to K-pop and laughing his ass off, and then watching a video of me shoving Last Shadow and then laughing his ass off. That was a pretty great experience.
I was watching the Hangover video too. Oh, I felt I was embarrassed.
Yeah?
Watch that shit.
Meeting CJERO at IEM Toronto, I had to play him. So I had a stare down with him, trying to scare him, but he would just like smile at me. So that was a little weird. And then he told me later I was cute at a bar, so that was pretty great. I like CJERO. I'll never live that down. And fan-wise, I met a guy in Detroit. It was so weird. Like, he came to play to the tournament because I was there. His name is Adasi. And he just ended up being like a very like fun guy to hang out around. He was like, he drank a lot, but he was really nice. And otherwise, a close second would be one of my mod, Poison. She helped me so much when I went to Detroit every time. So, yeah, guys, that wraps up our year. We're not gonna be there tomorrow to run the clock down, but let's do the shoutouts and call it a day. Rotterdam, what are your plans for New Year's? And thank you for coming on the show, man.
You're welcome. After you asked me 84 times, I thought it was hard to decline. Plans for New Year's, it's actually kind of exciting because for Christmas we didn't do anything at all. So Flo, the observer for WCS America, she decided she wants us to join her for some party at White Wonderland. It's in Anaheim, like some big dance festival, I guess. Americans call it a rave.
Big EDM rave.
Yeah, they call it rave. I call it a festival. And so it should be really fun. I'm not sure what to expect, but Armin van Buuren is playing there and some other DJs. And like last year, I was like really kind of emo towards the end of the year. I don't even know why I was so emo anymore. I guess it was just shitty period or something. But I was asleep at midnight last year, like going from 2013 to 2014. I was asleep. That's like the first time that happened since I was 10 years old or something. So I'm actually really excited to just go out this year and have a fun party. So yeah. No, those are my New Year's plans, and then you guys will see me in the New Year. Thanks for having me on the show. Shout out to Riff and Jessica for being awesome as always. And after this show, Nate and I are going to do something really cool today. We're gonna stream. We're sitting in the same room, and some people have already noticed, like, no, Nate does not have the same Caldo as me. Like, you have to be really good to win one of those. I did it. But yeah, we're sitting next to each other, and we're both gonna start on a brand new account with 0 games. So it's not like bronze to master because we're gonna lose all 5. No, we're just gonna sit next to each other. We're gonna play ladder, and we're just gonna try to win as many games as possible in the day, and then we'll see who has the highest amount of ladder points at the end of the day. Nate said he's going to kill himself if I have more points than him. So hashtag Roddy Bolts are coming. So yeah, you guys can watch us at twitch.tv/Nathanias and twitch.tv/Rotterdam08.
I feel like statistically it should be easier to 2-racks than 2-gate victories. I'm just saying.
I mean,
there's only so, yeah. We'll see.
Caparino.
We will see, son. It's on. So yeah, that's it. Thanks everyone, and thanks to the people in chat. They were pretty funny. Normally I actually don't read chat during the show because it's really distracting for me, but today I did, and the chat is actually pretty okay over here. Good mods and good people. Thank you guys.
Yeah. What about you, Rifkin?
Shout out to our original channel sponsor, man, Chairs for Gaming.
Yeah.
They're getting restocked soon, which is awesome. I know that we I don't know, you, me, Max is Black, and everyone did such a good job selling chairs that they actually went out of stock for a bit. But so that's pretty cool. You guys, DX Racers, check them out, Chairs for Gaming. Other than that, I don't know, shout outs and, well, not even shout outs, that sounds so lame. Thank you to everybody here, I guess, for being on, and to desRow for having us, and to anyone who watches our channel. It's just been a fun year, and I look forward to the next one.
Yes. What about you, Jessica? Sorry.
I'm just gonna hang out with my my mom probably and count down New Year's. Yeah. Sick. And
It's so true. And her like 8 cats as well. She actually has like 8 cats.
I have 5 cats. Excuse me.
I dated a chick that had 4 cats, man. I can't fucking handle it.
It's totally different when you live with your family in a 3-story house than like if I'm in a single apartment with 5 cats. Excuse me. Anyways, yeah, and just thanks for having me on, and thanks for a beautiful 2014. Oh, I can't wait till next year, guys.
What about you, Nathanias?
Well, I guess my New Year's plans. I'm going to Anaheim with Roddy and Flo, and we're gonna fucking rave out and party. Hopefully, I won't remember that night, and it'll be fantastic. Yeah. So beyond that, man, thanks for having me on the show.
What about your sponsors, man?
Shout out to my sponsor.
I'm sorry.
Cider Power PC. My stream has taken a serious upward motion in quality. Not today though, because I only have one of my PCs in the living room. But yeah, they are pretty helpful. And yeah, tune into the Kappa Star League because we're coming back with a fierce vengeance in 2015. We have 2 sponsors we're talking to right now. One of them pretty much locked in for a big fucking thing we're gonna do in February. Beyond that, stay Kappa. Follow me on Twitter @NathaniasTV. Follow me on Instagram Nathanias TV. See you guys.
And Snapchat me your
You
name.
can
please.
you can Snapchat me your cats and your food. I'm Nathanias and Snapchat.
Yeah.
Shout out to my sponsors, Cheers for Gaming, Asus, and Corsair. They've been really supportive and are going to be even more supportive going in 2015. So that's really great. I just want to thank the guests because the show. I sort of put it together. So, but sometimes like today, that wasn't much effort. It comes down to them to really put thoughts on the table and just discuss what they want to discuss, and they're really great. I really couldn't ask for better people to come on the show. Roddy, Nate, Rifkin, and the latest edition of ZombieGrub. Really, thank you guys. Thank you to the people watching. Really appreciate it. We'll be back next week. Next week, I will finally do the special episode, so you'll see none of these guys come back. I'm done with them for a week at least. I'll do a special episode. I'll be tweeting about it. Gonna be hosting Rotterdam. They're gonna do their special streams.
No. Host Nate.
Okay, I'm gonna be hosting Nate. They're gonna do their special stream, and crap, I had something more meaningful to talk about, but I forgot. Yeah, guys, if you want a Remax T-shirt such as this one, you can buy it at desrow.spreadshirt.com. And yeah, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching the stream. We'll see you guys next week. All right.
Well.